Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Outs here. It's Monday morning. The Raptors won a game in overtime against the San Antonio Spurs on Sunday behind the great, excellent all-around play of Scotty Barnes. A fantastic game. This game was kind of like the inverse of the Chicago game, the second game of that game of the season. I don't remember which game it was in the season. I think it was our second game. We played the Bulls and we really kind of screwed up a whole bunch of times and then managed to fumble the game in overtime. Well, this is kind of the opposite, except for the Spurs. The Spurs kind of fumbled the game. They probably should have beat us for all kinds of different reasons. In a lot of ways, the Raptors didn't totally deserve to win this game last night. And it really kind of was a game stolen by Scotty and given to us at the end of it. I was saying this in the weeks recently that get ready for Scotty to decide that he just wants to win games for us and just takes over and just wins games. And this was the first one. I really knew it was coming. I didn't know it would be this soon. And man, I'm so glad it's this soon because we want him to start practicing this as much as possible going forward. Now, this is going to change and morph over time. It's not like Scotty's going to be able to do this every single night. He's going to have success and failure. But the other teams are going to adjust and they're going to try and do different things to start trying to stop him in different ways as he gets better and better. So there's going to be a wavelength to it. It's going to be a kind of like woo, woo, woo. So you can't just expect Scotty to be perfect. But the thing about this is that Scotty just showed us yesterday something about how he can play where we can really have the best player on the court, possibly the most dominant player on the court on most nights, like on a lot of nights. I'm just saying that. Like if he gets his chances, if you think about it, Wemby came out there and he was very dominant. In some ways, this game was a tale of two halves. The Wemby effect very much felt in the first half of the game, and the Scotty effect felt very strongly in the second half of the game. And it really was a tale of two halves. And the Raptors, I have to give them a ton of credit. They're better than their fans. I'll tell you that, first of all. The first, I'll bet a bunch of fans turned off the game in the first half yesterday afternoon. This Sunday afternoon, there's a whole lot of other things you could be doing. And I'll bet a bunch of people said, I don't even want to watch this once they saw the Raptors getting around a 20-point deficit behind. Yeah, I'll bet a bunch of people turned that game off and they missed the Scotty show because of that. That's why I always say to people, never, ever be a fair weather fan and turn that television off. I don't care how bad the score is because you may miss out on one of the golden greatest games in Raptors history. And in some ways you did yesterday if you gave up on them halfway through the game because they were down by 20. So the Raptors tied a franchise record of coming back from a 19-point deficit at the halftime. That's the second time they've done that. I think the other time they did it was Dallas, I think. So this is a huge, huge big deal, the way they won yesterday. Popovich, very impressed with the Raptors after the game, said that Darko had a really good scheme change at halftime, and they adjusted, and they executed perfectly. Popovich also giving credit to our team being the more veteran team with the squad that we had out there. And that was a huge key to us winning because he has a younger crew. They didn't know what to do at the end of the game to stop us from coming back and taking that game from them. That's part of the factors right there. We won't be able to do this against a lot of veteran teams. We're going to have to do it with a mix of different things, like play way better, make our free throws, and have a better first half and not an anemic second quarter. That second quarter was absolutely horrible. If we're going to beat top-level teams in the NBA, we're going to need to be like that. Against a young team that's not as experienced and is trying to figure themselves out a bit, yeah, we can get away with doing what we did yesterday. But in some ways, we got to really clean up the imperfections and play better. We won despite the imperfections, 60% from the free throw line and all kinds of ugly play in the first half. But in the second half, tightened up that defense and Scotty took over. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game. And I want to say this. I have more faith than ever in our new coach, Coach Darko, that at halftime, he made the adjustments. I don't know what he said to those guys. I don't know how much he did the changes. They asked him, the reporter said, what did you do at halftime to get these results? he said, I won't tell you because then Greg Popovich will know for next time. So I'm not telling you what the adjustments were specifically because I don't want the Spurs to know for the next game. They really wanted to beat us. I was watching the Spurs broadcast, and they're talking about how we blew them out of the water last year in both the games we played them, and we've beaten them four games straight before this game. So make it 5 because we continue to dominate the Spurs, at least in the recent years. Yeah, it was a very fun game, and it was interesting to listen to it by the call of Dave Land and Sean Elliott from the Spurs side. Yeah, very, very fun game last night. We'll do the 5 stars of the game. We'll do more reactions from you guys and the Instagram check, all the fun stuff on the reaction stream today. Let's check in with the comments first. Nameless is saying, good morning, everyone. I think you're all wrong about Koloko missing time from long COVID. I think it's a genetic tick they discovered, and he could be done. I've seen it before. If it was COVID, they come out and say it by now. You think they'd be the first guy to suffer from long COVID? It's deeper than that, and that's why they will not disclose. Well, I don't want to go conspiracy theory on this, Nameless. Once again, the Koloko thing, we just put it on the shelf and wait. Have patience. Let the team and the doctors and Koloko himself deal with it on their own. And when we're needing to know, we'll need to know. Right now, we are not on a need-to-know basis. We'll find out when we're supposed to find out. I don't want to speculate in this stuff because it's really useless. This is like trade speculation, injury speculation. We'll find out about Koloko when the time is right, and just be patient. I know a lot of people are like, I wish we could have him on the court. I wish we could use him right now. I get it. I'm with you. But this is one thing that everybody needs to understand in life. Sometimes you just got to deal with what you got at that time. And sometimes people are not available and you cannot get their help, whether it's a team member at work and you need to catch up on the extra slack because they're not there. So, yeah, let's not speculate on this, Nameless. In some ways, Koloko is not a story for us to talk about on here. When there's new information officially coming out, then we'll talk more about Koloko. But otherwise, just let them do what they're doing with him. We got to trust Dr. Alex, and we got to trust that Koloko hopefully will get better. But there's no guarantees in life. And that's why it's tough being an NBA GM, because you could get a blue chip, great, awesome center out of Arizona that you think is going to be a slam dunk. But there's all kinds of X factors that go on in NBA careers and stuff like that can derail or hurt people's careers. So that's what I'm saying. It's not an exact science. And we're going to just need to see how this all goes. And hopefully it all comes out okay still. And we still see Christian Koloko at a top level in the NBA someday. So we'll have to see. Once again, that's just speculation is not necessary. All right, let's see what Dana's saying. Good morning to Canadian Dana. Good morning, everyone, and Nameless. I need some transparency with Koloko, but great win last night. This is Scotty's team now. Yeah, and I don't like the overreaction of a lot of people right now. In fact, people were telling me that on Raptors Tonight last night, I didn't watch it, they were kind of bashing Siakam. There's no reason to do this, y'all. In some ways, if we want to have a very, very good team, we need to stop bashing good players on it. It doesn't make any sense. So what if Siakam had a certain stat line last night? Let's look at it real quick before I do my 5 stars, because he's not one of them, but that's fine. 2 of 12 from the field, 1 of 4, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. In some ways, I'm going to give him major points for that, considering a whole bunch of other people are missing free throws like stupid. 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, a +7 with 8 points. Listen, there's nothing to hate about Siakam's game yesterday. Casuals hate on it. And if Raptors Tonight were hating on his game last night, then they're acting like casuals. I'll tell you right now, Siakam was a huge defensive presence in the game last night. Just like we were talking about yesterday morning, that Siakam's defense is underrated. Well, he was in full effect and a part of the great defense in the second half of the game last night. And he was a huge part of why we came back and won this game last night. This is a team game. And it doesn't matter that the man only scored 8 points. He had a huge part on the team and the team defense in trying to stop Wemby and the rest of them and doing such a good job. In fact, Siakam was down there getting huge defensive rebounds and playing incredible defense in that way. We've had a problem with the other team getting offensive rebounds and second chance shots and it destroying really good first defensive efforts. And then all of a sudden, the other team gets a rebound and a second shot, and it ruins all of our great defense. Well, the best defense is that defensive rebound. And I saw Siakam pulling them down and stopping the possessions for the other team. This is what I'm going to tell casuals right now. We won last night. What the fuck are y'all looking for problems? What the fuck are you coming and blaming people and blaming our players? We won, and Siakam was a part of why we won. So what if he didn't carry us and Scott did? There may be a night coming soon where Siakam carries us, and he is a huge reason why we win because he's our leading scorer. I'm sick of this. In some ways, the best teams in the league have a dearth, a great abundance of great players that can step up and help them win. That's what we want. Y'all want to run one of our good players out of town that can do this? That's stupid. We want to keep our talent together. Now, we have to negotiate the price and figure out what's worth what and all that kind of stuff. And maybe there is a trade down the road. But once again, I'm going to say this just like what I said about Koloko. That's not our job. We'll let them do their GM job. And if Pascal gets traded for whatever, then so be it. And I'll react to it. But otherwise, I fully welcome and I'm happy that Pascal Siakam is a Raptor and he plays at such a high level for us. You say, what? High level yesterday? Yeah, he played at a very high level last night. And people that don't see that are casuals, are people that overvalue offense and they do not actually value some of the very important all-around skills that Siakam brings as a player that he is. So I'm going to say that right now. I'm not about shipping anybody out. I'm not about talking trades right now. And if it happens, then we'll react to it. This is a reaction stream. This isn't a prognosticating stream where I'm going to tell Bobby and Masai how to do their job. This is a reaction stream where I react to things that have already happened. And I don't tell people what I think should happen. Seriously, because in some ways, I really don't know what should happen in this situation. If I don't know what should happen, somebody who's talking about it every fucking morning, most people that are Raptors fans don't really know what should happen as far as what pertains to Siakam right now. So I'm just going to say this as a disclaimer right away, that if you're headhunting for Siakam, you're not going to find a friend with me, and I'm going to stand up for him, and I'm going to tell you every reason why we should try and keep him still. So, all right, let's keep going. Bryce Lawson, good morning, everyone. I hope you all had a great sleep last night after that big win. It was awesome. It was not predicted. In some ways, I was like, yeah, this is embarrassing. And I'm like, yeah, this sucks. But boy, did they veer that plane from crashing into that mountain like Indiana Jones. Dun, 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 dun. Scotty Barnes, dun, 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 to the rescue. That's right. He's saying after last night, I can confidently say that I wouldn't mind trading Siakam. This is 100% Scotty's team. This may be very true, and I think it is. But in some ways, I caution this. This will probably happen, Bryce. I'm going to say this right now. The chances of Siakam getting traded this season are extremely high, and they probably will happen. But right now, for right now, I want to still see if they can still coexist in a right way where things will work right. But in some ways, this is a smart move. It is a smart move to possibly get a couple of different good players, not extremely good players, but maybe like two really good players that can be possibly pseudo bench starters and just allow us to have a little bit more depth on our bench. I get that argument and that idea that people have, and I'm not totally against it. But I'm not going to specifically specify what I want or why or when. And in some ways, I want to honor Siakam with his time with us and allow him grace with things, just like we did with Fred and stuff. Now, people say, well, no, you let Fred walk for nothing. How do you honor him with that? Well, I don't know. And that's not my decision. That's the hard, tough decisions for Bobby and Masai. And I trust in them that they're going to make the right decisions because they've been making the right decisions for the most part. Now, a lot of people are trying to say that Bobby and Masai have not been, but they're wrong. They're very wrong. Just look at Scotty Barnes. Look at Scotty Barnes, and you tell me. Good to see you, Bryce. I hope you have a great Monday, and glad to see you in the comments this morning, man. Trevor's saying, good morning, Raptors family. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you, Commissioner J. What a great comeback. 2 steal, 1 from the Spurs. Scotty was amazing. Yeah, Yeah, I'm really impressed with Darko. As much as I'm impressed with Scotty and him elevating, I knew he was going to do this kind of stuff. And we finally saw it. Him hitting a huge three to tie it, him going and getting rebounds. Like, you know what? This is me taking this game over. I'm getting that rebound and keeping the possession alive for us to score. There were a lot of things that happened in the right ways for us, whether it's OG making that shot at the end like that. They really screwed up when the Spurs both rebounded each other, Wembayama and the other guy, and they screwed each other up and lost the ball. And OG snuck in there and got that last shot. Zach Zarbo is kind of screwy with giving those free throws to Jones at the end there. That was messed up. It should have never been decided with free throws at the end, where this guy's shooting free throws right at the end of the game like that. That was not really a foul on Siakam, where he put his foot down and the man just happened to step in the same spot. How is that a foul? That's such a screwed up foul. I get it. He went flying out of bounds into Shea Flores, and they're on the ground. But to me, that's not a foul. They were both trying to get the same spot, and he just happened to step in the same place. That's not a foul, Zach Zarba. And in some ways, you giving them free throws showed a strong ref manipulation. But hell yeah, we beat y'all anyway. Fuck you with that bullshit foul call where you gave free throws to the Spurs right at the end of regulation. That was messed up. And thank God OG got that ball and tied the game up and let us go to overtime, because those free throws were wrong. That was not a foul on Siakam. They can have both their feet going the same place. It's not like anybody was shooting. This isn't a shooting thing where people kick out or they put their feet out or anything. This is going to get the loose ball while it's going out of bounds. And those guys just happen to both put their feet in the same spot. I could say that's a foul on Trey Jones for stepping on his leg. That's a foul on Trey Jones, not a foul on Siakam. You can look at it both ways. And that's messed up. And we even challenged it. And Zach Zarba was like, well, the contact was with the left foot into the other foot, guiding him out of bounds. Bullshit. That is bullshit, Zach Zarba. You know that's bullshit. They both stepped in the same spot, and you called the foul on Siakam. That was so screwed up. But justice was served anyway, and we still won. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Yeah, that's Trevor saying, in all my life watching basketball, that was the most bullshit foul on Siakam I've ever seen. Yeah, I'm with you, Trevor. That's the one I'm talking about right now. Yeah, for sure. Trevor J saying, pain is a sign that you're alive. Problem is a sign that you're strong. Prayer is a sign that you're not alone. I feel like you're reading this off of a sign on the wall. Like Trevor J's in some like a classroom or somewhere, or maybe even a church, and he sees it on the wall. He's like writing that's too well written, Trevor J. Maybe you need to go work for the people that write inspiring quotes, because that sounded like a real one, like that I would see like on a teacher's like classroom's wall. Pain is a sign that you're alive. Problem is a sign that you're strong. And prayer is a sign that you're not alone. Dang, Trevor J. Wow, man. Maybe you need to work for Hallmark or something. Jeez, man, you're writing them good today. Tristan Phipps is here. Good to see Tristan. Darko seems to be really implementing what a winning culture is. He did not give up on this game, and that speaks volumes. This is something that I really worry about in recent years. This kind of like dog in us, Patrick Beverly, it was maybe gone because of Lowry being gone or Fred. In some ways, like the tenacity of the Raptors to show that they had not given up after being down by so much is fantastic. It's a sign that we still have part of our Raptors culture intact, with a lot of main people have gone and they're not around anymore. In some ways, Siakam not being the main driver of this is really good too, because he's one of the longest remnants of our team now at this point. That, without Nick, without Kyle, without Fred, we came back from such a huge deficit and were successful and won. And it really is a huge thing about Scotty Barnes and about OG Annunoby and about Darko Rajaković. That you're exactly right, Tristan, that there's a winning culture around our team in the right kind of way with Darko. And this is an early sign of it. The fact that the way we went about this, in some ways, we were very deliberate about this. If you watch the second half, they kind of parsed out the lead and kind of took care of it in chunks through the third and the fourth quarter. It's amazing that we scored 36 points in the third quarter after scoring 35 points for the whole first half. There really was some crazy anemic stuff for us in the second quarter, where they scored and doubled up our score for the second quarter. And we still won this game. It's insane. The fact that we shot 61% at the free throw line and they shot so bad at the free throw line. I was like, we have no business winning this game. We're down by 20. What a crap game. What are we doing? We are garbage. The fact that we won this game in the end is insane to me, because we looked like really bad heart garbage, like one of the worst teams in the league in the first half. Boy, did that change the look of what we looked like by the end of the game. And that's Scotty bringing his pencil to write the story himself. That's right. He was writing that story himself last night. Good to see you, Tristan, a great Raptor freak. Tom Dukes here. Good win. Definitely going to areas, growing in areas, definitely growing in areas. Let's go, Raptors. Happy Monday, Raptor Freak family. You go, Tom Duke, holding it down in Victoria, British Columbia for us. Yes, yes, and yes, Tom. All around what you're saying there. Monique is here. Good to see the super fan, Monique Lawrence. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Stars of the game for her are Scotty, OG, Dennis, with a bonus yak and second half bench, huge, massive win. There you go. I love your stars of the game. Let me do mine real quick since Monique's done hers. They're pretty similar. Very similar, Monique. My number one star, of course, is Scotty. Scotty absolutely dominating in this game. 42 minutes. That's, with the overtime minutes. 9 of 20, 5 of 10 from three, 50% shooting from three. It started slow. It wasn't in the first half. It's pretty much all in the second half. He only had 3 points at halftime, and he ended up with 30 points. So you do the math. That's 27 points in the second half and in the overtime. In some ways, Scotty did a little bit of what he's been known for his first 2 years of his career, where he kind of disappears for a couple quarters, and then he has one big, huge quarter. Well, it was really kind of, he wasn't so hot in the first half, but then in the second half, holy crap, he played all out. I really love the 4 offensive rebounds, because some of them were very late and they were very much in competitive rebounding situations where the Spurs were trying to get it. And he just, pure desire, ran over and wrenched those balls and took them. There were a couple times where we looked like the team that really wanted it more than the Spurs in a lot of ways, whether it was Jakob wrenching the ball away from people down in the lane, or Scotty going to get those rebounds. Board man gets paid, because that man was like, that ball's coming off there and we missed. I'm going to get it and save our possession. I love that. You know what I'm talking about when you saw Scotty go and do that. In some ways, those rebounds to me are more impressive than the clutch shooting in some ways, because they showed a pure, unadulterated 100% desire to go and get the ball, and it is mine. And that was beautiful. That was so beautiful. Those were key rebounds. 11 rebounds for Scott with a double-double, 6 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 3 turnovers, plus 14, the highest plus minus on our team. You got to love it. Stat stuffing with 3 steals and 3 blocks for Scott also. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff all around. Now, I have a little bit of a theory. In the beginning of the game, the Raptors felt the Wemby effect. And it really was like, holy crap. We saw OG get blocked in the corner on that 3. And it was like, we got to recalibrate things. It really was like that. We stayed away from inside the paint in the first half because he scared the hell out of us. He blocked us a bunch of times. And it was like, holy crap, we really do need to adjust for his extra length and how long he is. And in some ways, Scotty himself was very sheepish in the first half of the game. It was really weird. It was almost like he was like, holy crap, this is a new player. This guy's kind of scary. He's the future. And then, like, I thought about it in the second half. Maybe Scott woke up to the whole idea, well, Wemby's a rookie. He's very, very new, and I'm older than him. Maybe I need to start establishing myself as a superstar because this kid's coming. And I can really tell. So I better get going on being a top dog like I want to be now. And he did that in the second half. I really got that feeling because it was a tale of 2 halves. Victor's half was the first half, and Scotty's was the second. Yeah, Scotty is my number 1 star for sure. My number 2 star is I picked Schroeder, actually. I really liked Schroeder in certain ways last night. Low-key, Schroeder was so good last night, guys. He was really mixing in those mid-range shots and going to the basket in a really dangerous kind of place to try and score with Wemby lurking. Dennis was really, really smart. He's so smart as a player. Oh my gosh. And the way he makes decisions and the way he takes shot selection is just Trey Magnifique. I mean, seriously, the mid ranges he was stopping and popping. We started the game with one right away, little floaters. And then when he gets around his defender and he gets near the basket, he's so good at finishing with by using the rim or just using his quickness to get there really fast and dump it in before they can get to him. In some ways, Dennis is like 100 times, like way better at finishing near the rim than Fred was. He really does have a better knack for that quickness and getting it to go in instead of getting blocked or getting like a rim out or something like that. He's really good like this. And then you add in like he's throwing assists to people. He's playing dogged defense on the opposing point guard. He's playing with a veteran presence on the court, which was a huge key to why we won yesterday. The veteran presence of Dennis, Pascal, and Otto Porter Jr. in some of the lineups that we put out there in the second half were absolutely essential to us winning because they outvetted a younger Spurs team with experience. Otto Porter Jr. already paying off exactly what he's supposed to do for us coming back from his injury this year. Fantastic stuff. But Dennis, let's do his stat line real quick. 10 of 19 as a guard. Fantastic. I mean, he was 1 of 8 from 3, though. And that's too bad. Maybe some of those threes should have gone in, but he was taking open threes for the most part. They weren't bad threes. They just didn't go in. 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers, a +1 with 24 points. Dennis was helping us score in the second half to help us come back. He was part of the people that were bringing the punch to come back. And it really is underrated what Dennis did. Some people will not talk about Dennis in the game last night because he's overshadowed by Scott, but he was huge, a huge factor. And so much of a factor on the download that I put him above OG in the game yesterday, even though I probably shouldn't have. Because once again, OG was absolutely fantastic. My third star, OG Annunoby on both sides of the ball. Once again, he was getting the Victor assignment, and he he had mixed results. I'm going to tell you, sometimes I think that OG actually did kind of stop Victor in certain ways, but there were ways that, Victor's just going to be unstoppable on certain plays. OG, 50% shooting last night. 8 of 16, 7 of 13 from 3. This is his record, the most threes he's ever made in a game in his career, 7 threes. Absolutely electric. In fact, the OG threes were fantastic. They were consistent throughout the whole game. That one thing that was going for us in the first half was OG's threes. They were like awesome. And he was hitting them from all different spots around the arc. And some of them were contested. Some of them were a little bit kind of like, I don't think he'll make that. And holy crap, he did make that. There was a lot of that kind of shooting. Keldon Johnson had that kind of shooting going from 3 last night too. But yeah, OG on both ends. Once again, he's doing crazy stuff with Wemby, trying to learn how to play against him. In the middle of the game, he's getting his shot blocked in the corner, but he's unflappable. After getting your shot blocked like that, so crazy humiliating, you'd think he'd be sheepish and scared, a little trigger shy. No, that man just kept shooting for the whole rest of the game, and he got better and better as the game went on. 7 of 14 shooting from 3, or 7 of 13. That is absolutely fantastic. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, a +8 with 24 points for OG Annunoby. He did it on both sides of the ball. And honestly, they're calling them the dynamic duo, OG and Scotty, taking over this game last night. The Spurs announcers were pretty much saying it's like Barnes and Annunoby are just going off and taking this game back for them. They were very impressed with that. Sean Elliott is a really awesome guy. I love Sean Elliott so much. He's one of my old favorite Spurs. And, as an announcer, he's interesting. In some ways, he's kind of too milquetoast for me. He's a little too plain, but he does really know basketball, and it's interesting to hear his insight. And they were talking a lot about how we came back and won this game, and how it happened was really with energy and scrappiness and really just wanting it more. Going in there and guarding these guys really crazy hard so they can't score. This is a huge strength for us. And this may be one of the things that helps us kind of win against teams we have no business winning against, like Milwaukee last week. We get this defensive front up and make it really, really hard. We can hurt other teams' field goal percentage. It's just we got to make sure we don't stall out on our own offense. It's really, really key to it. My fourth star of the game last night is Poeltl. Poeltl was fantastic in his return to the Spurs. They did a welcome back video. See, other teams do it too, guys. It's not just us. And he got a standing ovation, and rightfully so. It was actually kind of cool how they did it. They announced our guys with the lights on, except for Poeltl. They announced him last. They turned the lights off and gave him the San Antonio Spurs music and lights and a video montage, and announced him with like they would their own players. That was very cool. And it was really cool to see how much fun and happiness he has seeing his old teammates and palling around with them and laughing with them before the game. Poeltl really got the most points he's gotten this season so far. Another double-double, 8 of 10 shooting, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals for Poeltl, 1 block, 1 turnover, a -5. But listen, Poeltl was absolutely cool in this game. We saw the Spurs announcers were all saying, like, all through the game, Poeltl doing Poeltl things. Yeah, he was out there doing Poeltl things, whether it's cleaning things up around the basket, making really tough, tight shots. And he learned about the Wemby effect too last night. Boy, did he. A couple of our players learned about the Wemby effect and learned that, yeah, you got to do things a little different when Victor's on the court. You really, really do. Dennis saying after the, or I think it was Dennis, or maybe it was, I think it was Dennis. Yeah. You got to find out where he is on the court and understand where he is, because he is a real serious threat and he can come from very far away. And he has such a long arm length. It's like OG saying, like, he's trying to make that shot underneath the basket where Wemby blocked him right underneath the basket. And he's like, I really thought I could make that. But boom, he was right there. So there's an adjustment to the Wemby effect. And I felt like Siakam did a good job. The first half, Wemby was in full effect and we were feeling it. But in the second half, in some ways, there were some adjustments that happened. Maybe he's just a rookie and he's still green, but we figured things out a little bit on how to handle getting away from him and getting our offense going without him in the vicinity. And then also maybe a little bit of physicality. It was interesting that one play Scott tried to bump him off, but he was still too close. Like he tried to muscle him at one point, really try to muscle him and get him away from him to make that shot. But he can't. It's really like impossible because you can bump him and he'll still be long enough to kind of reach over and block you. So crazy. It's like playing a tree. Let's just put it that way. That may be the quote of the day right there. It's like playing a tree. Yeah. My fifth star of the game is actually Otto Porter Jr. I really am really happy with the developments of Otto being healthy and only 2 games back. He's been huge. Only 2 for 4 with 6 points with 2 threes, but they were huge threes. There was 1 3 where he caught it in a really weird way and he kind of flipped it up there and it went through. And I'm just like, Otto's a badass. You can tell he's been doing this for a long time. And that, like, he just really is really savvy and smart. It's like crazy that he hasn't really had a ramp up and he's playing at such a high intelligent level. 1 block for him, 4 rebounds, a +9 in 19 minutes. And just like I said, this may be a look we see more at the end of the game where not as much Malachi or Jalen McDaniels or any of the youngsters like Gradey. And we're going heavy with like Dennis, Otto, Pascal, and OG and Scotty. That was a really cool lineup because that lineup had a lot of vet in it. And it was really smart and mistake-free in a period of the game where we were absolutely trying to finish the comeback. You know, I have more faith in Dennis Schroeder and Otto Porter Jr. hitting huge threes in really high intense pressure situations because of their reps and their years in the league. And having Otto come back and be healthy this year and be able to do this role for us is going to add up to wins, y'all. It's going to add up to big wins because we will be more able and not as inept at the end of games because of his very savvy intelligence. I'm telling you, it's not just about knowing when to shoot and stuff like that. It's knowing about when to go and do things off the ball, when to do certain things defensively to stop this, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's the smarts that had Scotty call that timeout as soon as he made the steal on the inbounds play. That was an amazing play too. because it showed the aptitude of Scott being a superstar, reading the play and just going and stealing that inbounds. It was fantastic at the end of regulation. That's something that Larry Bird or Magic Johnson would have done back in the day. So I love that. He baited Jeremy Sohan to throw the ball over there, and he fell right into it, and he ran and just grabbed it. Timeout immediately. That was very heady for a third-year player that's very young like Scott, who's only 22 years old. To call that timeout and do all that in one thing, and he even almost got a clean shot to win it in regulation on that play when he did the turnaround. He could have gone in at that point, and boom, there would have been no overtime. So, man, some really cool stuff happening with the team. There's my 5 stars. I'm going to give honorable mention to Siakam. And once again, I'm not bashing him today. And if there's anybody out there who feels like bashing the Raptors after we won, just stop. I don't want to do that this year. I really, really don't. We should celebrate them. And, we can talk about things constructively criticizing, but I don't want y'all to just say blanketly, I hate Siakam. I hate him. I don't want him on this team. It's stupid. Why do you have that attitude? So, yeah, I love your stars, Monique, and there's mine. Trevor J saying, OG shooting the lights out. Man, oh, man, offense and defense. Two-way player, amazing player. Keep him. Keep him. Obviously, him and Scotty had something going on as a duo last night, and I loved it. I love it so much. Monique saying, what ticks me, though, the most, everyone downgrading Siakam, shaking my head. Yeah, it's whatever. They're talking shit. Some people are just miserable. They want to criticize people, and they can't just enjoy the good game. I know it was ugly in the first half. I was gearing up for a really bad stream this morning in the first half of the game. I'm like, oh man, tomorrow's gonna suck. Everybody's gonna be like, yeah, they were garbage. It's gonna be a long season. But it's a totally different stream. We can talk about happy things. We can be like really excited about the future with Scott, because a lot of people, what they're saying after the game last night is the Raptors have a bona fide number one superstar that can close games and do things, and something that people were saying we didn't have for years. And I said this for 2 years now. Scotty's going to be this guy, and it's so nice to finally see him arriving, and it's real, because honestly, we need a player like him like this. And people are saying, oh, you don't win without players like Kawhi. Well, you get one, you draft one, and you make one like Scotty. Scotty is like Kawhi. And that's the thing that people are going to realize more and more when we win our second championship, that Scotty is like Kawhi. And we don't need to trade to get Dame Lillard. We don't need to trade to get Kevin Durant. And do you understand now, people around the NBA, why we weren't willing to trade Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant last summer? Do you understand now why? Because look, Kevin, I don't know how many more years he's got, but boy, does Scotty have a lot of good years ahead of him. Oh, yeah, he does. That's right. Let's keep going. Monique saying, no one saw this win coming. That's the funniest part. Wemby who? Yeah, I was hoping we could win against them. I know we could be competitive with them. There's kind of different teams this year. There's teams that are kind of like, yeah, this is something we can get. Then there's teams like Milwaukee and Boston. You're kind of like, well, man, we probably won't win. But then you can win against teams like Milwaukee last week. So it's weird. I saw the Spurs as a very gettable game, but the way we played in the first half, I was like, yeah, we're done. But then they proved me wrong. And that's the craziest thing. Wemby is very impressive, Monique. I'm not going to diss him. Seriously. I can't say Wemby who. This guy is the real deal, and he's amazing. He is a complete cheat code. And just his reach alone is a terrorism for the whole rest of the league. His reach, just his reach. Isaac's saying Scotty looks up to Pascal, and we have three interchangeable two-way forwards. Pascal is in a perfect place, and we equally need him. That's right. Let's not do Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady kind of shit, y'all. Seriously. We know the folly of that. Once again, it's really good if we can keep our homegrown players and bird rights them and pay the hell out of them and keep them, just like the Warriors have done. Why do we want to take riches away from us just because of Scotty getting better? Why wouldn't we want abundance? Isn't this what the billionaires do? They hoard things. Well, why wouldn't we want to hoard good players? Why do people think people are just disposable all of a sudden? Just because one young player is really, really good all of a sudden. It's ridiculous logic to me. And if y'all really want this team to be good, you want to keep every single good player on it, whether they have a bad night or not. We could see Siakam go to Dallas and kick some major ass. As long as that floor is not wet, motherfucking Mark Cuban, you better clean your floor this time. But yeah, when we go to Dallas on Wednesday, we could see Siakam be the leading scorer and carry us to the win too. Why wouldn't we want the luxury of having multiple people that could do this? And I'm with you on this, Isaac. You're exactly right. Resmo Daily saying, I finally got to watch the Raptors again since game one. Who is Scotty Barnes? Let's go. Edmund, we got to catch you up. We got Resmo Daily. Him some news about where we're at with his team. Come on, Edmund. I know you've been very busy with your stuff that you're doing and being all over the place. But yeah, man, come on now. Who is Scotty Barnes? What? It's this number right here, man. That's why I got to wear his jersey today because he showed up. Let's see. Mo's saying, hang on. Edmund's funny. All right, let me see. Wow, you guys really filled up the hoop. I love it. Just like the Raptors in the second half. Oh, good. Our Spurs fan came back for today. Okay, good. I do want to reconvene with Loic and talk to him about what happened. No, nothing. All due respect. We love you, man. Let's see. All right, where was I? Was here. Okay, Monique is saying, great seeing us get some love on NBA TV, Game Time. Wow, did we ever? And NBA YouTube channel. Well, people are very much saying Scotty's an all-star. I'm going to say this right now. The fans may vote him in, and if they don't, the coaches will put him on the team. I'm telling you right now, if anybody from the Raptors is going to get an all-star this year, it's going to be Scotty Barnes, and deservedly so. Scotty, you keep doing what you're doing. You're an all-star this year. You're an all-star. The people that are fans down south that aren't Raptors fans are already making their lists of the Eastern Conference all-stars because we're doing East-West again, by the way. No more schoolyard pick and bullshit. And they're putting Scotty as one of those all-stars so far this year. So, yeah, he's on that list with Embiid and Maxey and Tatum and them. And, that's a big deal because these are not Raptors fans. These are NBA fans in general. And they are putting him on the list as one of the top players in the East that needs to be an all-star this year. So that's a good sign that he's probably going to be an all-star this year. I see it. I mean, it's undeniable. If he keeps winning games like this and plays at a high level the whole time, yeah, he's an all-star. It's just undeniable. Monique's calling the best comeback in Raptors history. I don't know. It's close. I'd say it's in the top 5, but I still think that Dallas one with Kyle Lowry and Chris Boucher and Rondé Hollis-Jefferson around Christmas is absolutely the craziest comeback in Raptors history. Because in some ways that was done with the bench and Kyle Lowry, and that was such a weird game. Everything had to go exactly right for them to win that one. And so I still think it's that one, Mo, but this one is like it. This one is definitely like it in some ways. Very much definitely like it. Tom Duke saying finish line, foot to foot contact. Yeah, right. Yeah, see, I didn't agree with that call, Zach Zarba. And like in it, honestly, you didn't have to you went and got the challenge and you still stood by it. It's kind of messed up. It's messed up. In some ways, you could have said, okay, we'll just no call it and we'll just play on. But you want to give them free throws to try and win it. And that to me is messed up. That's what's messed up. Is you wanted to give them a chance to just win it at the line. Fuck you, Zach Zarba, for that. You were the one ref that was for the Spurs. That's for sure. I told y'all Dedrick Taylor is good luck. I told y'all he is. That's right. Let's see. Nameless is saying, this is why I said just give OG the 40 and listen to all the weirdos complain about it later. Yeah, I'm fine with it's just pay OG right now. And I think this is just you need to do this. He's so coveted around the league. Of course, you could trade him and get a bundle. But in some ways, what are we going to lose if we lose OG? And how much will that hurt our team? In some ways, he's a huge pillar of strength in the middle of our team for a few different reasons. These are the tough things that Bobby Webster has to think about. I'm telling you. Monique is saying, love everyone post-game last night, especially Raptors tonight and the locker room happiness. This win boosts our confidence, etc. Yeah, Scott looked really happy. They're giving away this chain like the one I gave David this summer. And Evelyn and David got chains at the Raptor-Freak meet and greet. Well, they're giving a chain to the player of the game now. Siakam getting it for the Milwaukee game and Scotty getting it for the game last night. I guess they only give it to the people that when they win. But that's cool. I love seeing Scotty was actually very emotional about the game last night. You could tell that he understands that in some ways he's arrived on another level and that he posted immediately last night on Instagram. Let's do the Instagram check real quick. He posted immediately, God is great, which is amazing. First of all, Mr. New York City is touting Mr. Beast for building 100 water wells in Africa, giving 500,000 people access to fresh water. So he really loves Mr. Beast, and he commends him for doing such a humanitarian thing. I've heard that Mr. Beast fakes some of the stuff he does on his channel, but I've also heard very good things about him also. I don't know. I won't say he's a bad person. He's a YouTuber. He's like me. Mr. New York City's in the 6, and he's got some new shoes. Of course, the 905 is separate away from the Raptors on this road trip right now. So they're just handling things away with the 905 team right now. And then he's also got a preacher saying God had to put you in a bad situation or different situation so you can have a different attitude. There you go. He's always inspiring. I can't wait to see Mr. New York City, see if he's got some dog and he can win big games. So Koloko is celebrating OG's 7 3-pointers made, career high, and he's saying typically. So a lot of his teammates are celebrating OG for what he did. Precious also putting OG's 7 3-pointers made on blast, and Scotty. And he's got a picture of Scotty after he made that big 3 to tie it. That was such a huge cojones shot. The way he stepped into the defender and then stepped back and hit that 3 with such poise. I'm telling y'all, he really worked on his 3-pointers this summer. And he's a legit 3-point threat. We see it right now. But he had that look, killer. And that's what Precious has got him on blast on his Instagram. I love seeing Precious being so supportive while he's injured. Matt Devlin showing Wemby before the game with the Wemby time on his Instagram. And Scotty ties the game. There's that shot that I was just talking about where he steps into the line, steps back, and shoots it right over Keldon Johnson, nailing a big 3 to tie the game. He said after the game, he thought that they were down by 4. But when he saw that it was actually tied at that point, he was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. That's so cool. Slim Duck is very interesting because, of course, he got the DMP last night, and he's posted some of the struggle is nothing but love. I'm a soldier, a rider, a ghetto survivor, and all the above, and all the above, all the above. Yeah, and then he's got a picture of his guys, OG and Scotty, and saying, my dogs, boy Scotty and OG Annunoby, talking about the win last night. So Chris, very happy they won. I'll tell you this right now. Chris Boucher would probably tell you, I'm okay with the DMP as long as we win. Seriously, he'd probably tell you that like last night. He's like, okay, I didn't have to play last night. And in some ways I'm disappointed. But if we win, I'm okay with it. So that's kind of cool in some ways that I know that Chris was probably, he's celebrating these guys even though he didn't play. And I know that's a disappointment to a degree. Dennis Schroeder had a fantastic day yesterday. His team in Braunschweig won 83-81 in a historical night, the first W in history versus this team that they played, they never beaten before. So he's an owner of the Braunschweig German basketball team. And so he was on cloud 9 coming into this game already. It may be part of the reason why Dennis's shot looked so good and it was going in so well because he was feeling good because of his team back home. And he's got a picture of Scotty in the back with the drip, the big chain that he's wearing around his neck. He's saying player of the game. He's got the freeze picture on him. Your boy Scotty. I love it. I love it so much. Scotty looks so happy in that picture. And then there's a picture of him and Thad coming in the game and the game day fits. Dennis has his computer out and he's always doing social media, whether he's liking Raptors posts or he's posting YouTube stuff or he's looking at whatever. He's always got his computer out, even when he's walking into the game with Thaddeus Young. And I love the picture of them smiling together. And I love that it's Dennis and Thad walking in. I'm telling you, this vet contingency on our team is a brain trust and a hive mind. And these guys all need to be kind of talking and getting together. Garrett, Otto, Chris, Dennis, Thad, Pascal, all the vets on our team. We have a good vet presence. And that means we can win in close games at the end of the game like yesterday. Dennis with some highlights from the game. There's one of his nice passes off to Jakob with easy shot. Jakob was getting found really well yesterday, and he was taking care of putting the ball in when he was close, whether it was Scotty or Dennis giving him the ball. I love that. And then, big time rebounds by Scott and the highlight on Dennis's thing, like the way he just ran in there and grabbed it. And then when he dunked it on Sohan, that was a big boy move. Like, seriously, I was like, okay, Scotty got the rebound. He's just going to put it up over him. No. Scotty was like, back him down. He's right under the basket. Put it on his head. That's Jeremy Sohan. Sohan is supposed to be like Rodman now. He's supposed to be a amazing defensive player. And boy, did he just look like a little baby in that play. He posterized Sohan in that one play. He made it like him look like a little baby. Like he's like, just like, I'll rise up. And I love how he elevates right now. It's like really crazy how Scotty elevates over people. Like he's standing and doing a 2-foot jump. And just like, I didn't think he was going to dunk it. I thought he was just trying to put it in. But no, he goes all the way up and I'm slamming it on your head. I'm slamming it on your head, Jeremy. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. That's so impressive. Seriously, that's dominating stuff. Like you can't do anything about that. And that's what people are realizing. Yeah, it was crazy. And so much good stuff. Gradey has a really cool clip of these guys dancing, these two kids. And he's saying me and my twin after standing on business. And he's saying it's Scotty and OG. Gradey, you're hilarious. And of course, Scotty's loving it. He's reposted. He's saying, like I said, he said, God is great because he's giving all the praise to God for what he accomplished yesterday because he is a very good Christian, religious guy. And then, he's got Dennis's picture he reposted of him in the chain. He's got his Ravens winning against the Seahawks yesterday, 37-3. He's celebrating that. And then he's reposting Slim Duck's celebration of him and OG also. I love that. The team camaraderie and the reposting stuff is a sign that there are happy things going on this team. Let's see if there's what else is there. I think that's pretty much it. There's your Raptors Instagram check for today. Good vibes. Celebrating Scotty, celebrating Braunschweig, and celebrating God and God being great. That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, Nameless is saying people giving me the horse eye for saying it, right? Giving you the horse eye. Wilbur. Were you talking about Spurs? Kareem talking about Spurs yesterday? Dig him in the side of the horse. MSJ saying one of the best, Mo, perhaps the most timely. I saw the long form highlight and that dunk on Sohan. Oh my Lord. And as I've been preaching since last year, this kid, SB, this is Scotty and OG's team. They were amazing. Now, see, once again, I don't want to do this. It's like sometimes we want to say, oh, it's just this person's team. And you kind of it's like kind of shadow dissing somebody else. Siakam's team still. And I want these guys to be three amigos. Why can't they be three amigos like Chevy, Steve Martin, and Martin Short? I want them to be three amigos. Can they be three amigos, y'all, please? Can we have three amigos? we have to make it a two-man tag. Can we have a 6-man tag? Can they be the Road Warriors and Dusty Rhodes, please? Can we be the Road Warriors and Dusty Rhodes? Can we have a 6-man tag? Come on. A 3-man team. Come on now. Nako's saying Scotty and OG, the real stars last night. But kudos to Gradey for still showing good playmaking against all-star level talent and getting the pass to Scotty when guarded by Wemby ain't easy. Yes. Good eye, Gerald. Very good eye. Let's talk about Gradey real quick. He didn't score in the game, and he was out there for 14 minutes. It really was more in the first half, a little bit in the second half. But the thing about Gradey that was deceiving was he was contributing in very, very veteran ways with the passes, as Gerald said. 4 assists for Gradey, 3 rebounds, 1 turnover. But the thing about Gradey was that one play you're talking about, Gerald, where he was in the corner on one side and Scotty was on the other side and Victor was in between them. He threw it kind of underneath the basket and around, like sidearmed it. And he got it to Scotty in the corner and Scotty nailed the 3. And in some ways, I love the reason why I love that pass so much, other than the degree of difficulty of getting it to him, is that he threw it to him in the right way where the rhythm of Scotty's shot was set up to hit it. In some ways, that's a big thing that these guys got to be better at, is tossing the ball. The person that throws the assist, don't throw it to their feet. Don't throw it to their knees. Don't throw it too high. Don't throw it too far to this side. Throw it to the right spot so they can catch it squarely and be almost in their shot form halfway before they even catch it. That's a real huge key to getting good assists and passing it well, is getting it to the person so they can hit into their rhythm. And that's what happened on that play when Gradey threw it underneath the basket across court along the baseline to Scotty, and he hit that corner 3. That was a rhythm 3 because Gradey hit him with the rhythm beat ahead of it. And I love that, Nako. Good eye. And yes, Gradey had a goose egg for scoring, but he was contributing. And like you said, he's got an aptitude above a 19-year-old rookie who's played in less than 10 games in the NBA. He's really, really got a savvy eye and a really kind of a smart way of placing himself or being in the right place. I call this Johnny on the spot. He really is a Johnny on the spot. It's kind of like if that rebound's coming, all of a sudden Gradey might be lurking and trying to either tap it or grab straight up that offensive rebound. We've seen him get in there and he'll hit it just like Jakob might to bat it out to one of his teammates on the outside. So yeah, Gradey's IQ and his aptitude is immensely good already. And with people like Otto Porter Jr., Pascal, and OG, and Gary around him, he's going to get even more savvy and smart quickly. And we're still talking about him growing too. So yeah, Gerald, great point about Gradey, and I'm glad you brought him up. Kareem Thomas is here, our dunk leader on this channel. IQ plus raw talent plus Mamba mentality equals Scotty Barnes. I like that formula, Kareem. I think that's pretty good. In some ways, there is a very high basketball IQ going on with Scotty here. And we've seen it. He's flexing it a little bit more. In some ways, he's young. It's orientation. He's got to figure out the league. He's got to figure out the players and who they are. And while he sees youngsters coming in after him like Victor, and it kind of lights a fire under his ass. So, oh, shit, this is the future? Well, I better show up and start showing that I'm a superstar in the second half because Victor is here now. And I can tell the future is crazy. Yeah, I love that. The Mamba mentality was on effect last night. That's the thing. Can you guys understand? And I'm not trying to diss Siakam. I'm just trying to tell y'all, you can see how Scott carried us at that game last night in a very, very dominant way. And it wasn't just making the threes or scoring. There were things he was doing defensively and also rebounding wise that helped to lead to this. That you can carry. Obviously, we need people to hit the points to even it up or go ahead. Sure, but the carrying can be on both ends of the court. And that's the thing. He literally carried us. Scotty really did. I mean, OG was helping and Dennis was helping in some ways with the scoring late, but it really was Scotty hitting really key important dots at really important times that were absolutely crucial, along with OG. OG had his spots too. But in some ways, it really is. Scott carried us last night. And if he heard me say that to him in Twitch, he'd be like, yep. He probably would say that, but he'd probably give kudos to OG and other guys too at the same time. MSJ saying, and Koloko seems he has a real deal breathing issue, and it's not for us to do much more than wait. Hope he's better, but at Nameless, does look like he's done, like Bosch or something similar. That's horrible. That's horrible. At least Bosch had his issues retire him like a good chunk into his career. This kid has not even started. And that would be horrible if it's like this. Once again, I don't want to predict any of this or put this out there. I'm going to say this. Koloko's going to get better very soon. He's going to return to the lineup. He's going to be healthy. And everything's going to go back according to what the plan was originally. That's what I want to put out in the ether. That's what I want to speak into existence. So I don't want to do any more doomsday. Oh, he's done for the rest of his career. Or he's got long COVID or something worse, like a tick thing or whatever you were saying earlier. I'm just going to say that he's going to be better and he's going to be back sooner than ever. That's the power of positive thinking. So I'm going to think positively for Koloko and not think doomsday stuff for him. Bradley saying, good morning, Lex. Bam. And Raptor Freaks. Bam, 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 bam. What a comeback. I wonder what Pop said to Darko after the game. Let's go. Well, he really likes Darko. In some ways, he's really like impressed with him from what he said after the game. That he thinks we got a really good coach and we got a really good system. And he gave us major props for how we came back and won this game. In some ways, that's super impressive. You're going against one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NBA, maybe the greatest coach ever. And he has such a crazy win percentage. And also, he's a mentor, somebody that you worked under for years in remoteness and also in closeness. He was a part of the Spurs organization for a long time, Darko. It was pretty much through most of the 2000s. He was like the scout and like for the Spurs in Europe. And he talked to Pop all the time. So they're very close. In fact, in some ways, Darko is from Coach Popovich's coaching tree, y'all. In some ways, he very much is. So there's a lot of respect Greg Popovich has for Darko Rajaković. And that, in some ways, it makes you feel real good about our coaching hire in itself. That, Pierre, like Popovich really thinks that Darko's a brilliant basketball mind and somebody who's underrated is what he said. I think that's what he said before the game. In pregame interview, he said Darko is a brilliant basketball mind and he's underrated. And he's nobody knows about him yet, but they will soon. is basically what he said. So yeah, that's awesome. Nako's making a sad face for Koloko. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. MSJ saying, I thought Scotty could be Magic 2.0. Now he's looking like Bird 2.0 and Sean Kemp 2.0, and the list goes on and on. He is working to have it all, that habits that he can do anything from all positions. I look forward to it. Yeah, he tried guarding Wemby a little bit too. They all kind of took a turn. It was interesting. I think OG did the best on him. It's true. Scotty is, in some ways, we can't say he's 2.0 of anybody. He's going to be the fresh first 1.0 version of Scotty, and he's going to take blends from different people. It's really like weed. It's like a hybrid. Let's take a little bit of that Magic strain, a little bit of that Kawhi Leonard strain, and let's intertwine them and get a new hybrid strain of cannabis. It's something like that is kind of what happens with Scott. I think he's one of the most old school players in the league right now. I called him the old school jukebox in his first season with the Raptors because as a rookie, he would do like mannerisms and physical like moves that made me remind me of like 80s players. Like he did the Magic Johnson baby hook in the lane against Boston in his first win ever when we went to Boston and won his first game ever. He did the little Magic baby hook homage. So there's certain things about Scott. Like sometimes I'll see him take a shot and I'll be like, that's like a Dirk Nowitzki move. Oh, that's definitely Kawhi. Oh, that's like I'll see different players in him. I call him the old school jukebox because in some ways he could order up like a old physical movement like a player like Bird did from back in the day or something like that. I still think that the closest comparison for Scotty in the end is going to be Kawhi. It really is. And it's really because of Kawhi's dominance on both ends of the court. Scotty has the same thing. He really does. And the hands were the tell. Like when he came in, I called him Claw too. And it really was because his hands, they measured his hands as a rookie in the combine, and he had crazy like Kawhi like claw hands. And then the height and the size and the strength. It just was like, yeah, this is going to be Kawhi. I knew it like right away. It's like if he gets more muscle and he's stronger and he can push people around down low, he can do everything Kawhi does near the basket. Because that's the thing with Kawhi. He's so strong. He gets near the basket, he just holds people off and he puts it in and he can shoot. So it's awesome. It's awesome. Most saying once Wemby missed that last minute layup, I knew it was overtime, man. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a really crazy roundabout way to win. And thank God they did. We needed this win bad. In some ways, I'm kind of pissed because we should really be like, what are we? We're like 3-4 right now. We should be 5-2 right now. We really should be 5-2. And for most of the season, I'm gonna be saying we should be plus 2 more wins because of Chicago and Portland. G's saying great win. My thoughts on Siakam. Maybe him being away from the team while others were with Darko was not great under a new system. Teams are still game planning around him for now once teams adjust. All right, G. I'm going to parse this out the right way. It was a great win. It's interesting. So your theory is because Siakam was detached from the players during the summer. He wasn't around Summer League really. He came to Rico Hines early, but not really there when the Raptors were there as a team. He didn't even see Poeltl when he was in Austria, which is kind of crazy. In some ways, I feel like Siakam was one of these people this summer that was like expecting to get traded. Fred had moved on, Nick had moved on, and maybe he was like, they think they're going to move on from me, but it didn't happen. And in some ways, he had to come back and show up. I mean, I get kind of vibes like this, that in some ways, Siakam and his people were gearing up for him to get moved. And that's part of the reason why he was over in Europe for a huge chunk of the summer, kind of just being away from the noise. He probably hates that whole thing, and he was not looking forward to a divorce from Toronto. Well, he didn't get traded, so he's still on the Raptors, and he's in a kind of a weird place. But he's a team player, and he's willing to try and go with the new system and the new coach and try it, even though maybe this summer he may have already been like, I know I'm going to get traded. I know I'm going to get traded. And there were signs of this. There were signs that they probably were trying to trade him this summer, and it just didn't work out. So it's a weird limbo for him, but I commend him for being a very good professional, showing up, putting in good effort, not being a distraction, helping and giving it his best effort. That's the thing that people should be saying about Siakam right now. is that he's really is trying hard to meld with the new look of the Raptors, even if he wasn't maybe supposed to be part of the plans right now. Think about it that way. Like he's being awesome, and I love him. I want him to stay in Toronto. I don't want him to trade him. And in some ways, I'm glad that they didn't trade him this summer because in some ways there may be things that we discover down the road with him actually fitting in with things that are coming forward, and it does make sense. I know right now a lot of people are saying this doesn't make sense. Let's trade him. We can move on from him, get some good players that'll help complement around Scott. And I get that strategy. But in some ways, I'm like, let's not rush this. Let's still see what can happen with him, with Darko, because we have time still. And in some ways, we'll see whether he gets traded by the trade deadline this year or not. We'll see. Yeah, it's very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Monday. Good morning to you, Fiercely Sarah. Watching that game, so many emotions, roller coaster of emotions. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ride or die with them. If you don't, you turn off that TV, you miss out on the Scotty show. That's what I tell people. That's why if you're at the game and the game is not that close, it's like 10-point losing, and there's like 4 minutes to go, don't fucking leave just because you see 10 points. Oh, it's 3 minutes. You're not going to win. Don't do it. Seriously, sometimes amazing magic happens when a lot of the arena gives up and they leave. The team comes back all of a sudden and wins. So never give up. Ride or die with the Raptors every single time they're playing, whether they're down by 20 or not, because you get to see stuff like yesterday. That's right. Nameless is saying, I hope I'm wrong, MSJ. Part of me feels if he was done, they'd come out and say that too. What would be the benefit for keeping him around so long if he was done? I'm very confused. Well, let's just think about it this way, Nameless. They are going to do whatever is best for the Raptors at the utmost potential or whatever. It may not serve them to say he's done because he isn't. That's what I'm saying. So in some ways, this is a patience thing. Y'all need to just be patient, really. And in some ways, look, the signal is if they're not using a disabled advantage or exception for the season because he's not going to be playing for the whole year, that means they intend for him to come back and be healthy at some point during this year. Because that was something that y'all talked about and brought up. If Koloko's not going to be able to play, can we go sign somebody else and get an exemption? And yeah, but they haven't done that yet. So maybe that means that they don't want to close him up for the year because they do see the things that are happening with him. And maybe he will be eligible and able to play health-wise at some point during the season. So I would say this, if they really thought long-term that this guy's done for the year, just like Steven Adams, they would have made the moves to get the exemption and do things. So think about it that way. G saying defense, then I think will give him more space and time to get used to being more of a perimeter wing. I don't think Masai will make any decisions till December. And I hope that's true because in some ways they got to give Darko a chance for a system to get installed and also the players to learn it. And Siakam is very much learning it just like everybody else. In fact, him and Gary seem to be the two that are having the hardest time. And that makes sense because in some ways, those guys were the black holes on our team last year, the ones that were more likely to shoot it than like pass it. And in some ways, the struggles of Siakam and Trent may be partly because they just don't have the green light to just dominate the ball and be ISO, like so crazy ISO. I mean, I get that. That they may be the ones that have the hardest adjustment. And that when they come around, maybe they're going to be really badass. I'm waiting for Gary to wake up. There were a couple things that he did last night that were interesting. Let's talk about Gary Trent Jr. Gary had that one dunk in the lane. That was a very much a frustration dunk where he's been pissed with how he's played so far this year. And seeing him go right down the lane and jam it right on them, that was getting some steam off. You could tell. Now, late in the game, Gary showed signs of getting out of his slump, y'all. Scotty started finding him late in the game, and he had a couple of threes late that absolutely were helpful for us to come back. And he did throw some money in to help to get us to win last night. 10 points for Gary, 4 of 8 from the field. That's pretty good. 50% shooting, the way he's shot so far this year, 50% from 3, 2 of 4. 1 steal and 2 turnovers. That's not so good. He gets 1 steal back, but he lost it twice. I'm telling you, Gary showed signs last night of possibly getting out of his bad downturn right now. I'm serious. right at the end. Those shots were with confidence and they were right through the middle. So maybe we're going to get the regular Gary back going forward. Hopefully in Dallas, we'll see Gary look really good offensively. And finally, he's feeling better because, yeah, I've been worried about him. And him and Siakam, similar things with learning Darko's system, as I said. Yeah. Fiercely saying, but we made it. Scotty is right now, he is him. Amazing. But special mention to OG and Dennis as well. Yeah, I don't want Dennis to get overlooked in this whole thing. And I don't want Siakam to either. Is even though Siakam didn't score a lot last night, he was huge for why we came back and won. He did a lot of the dirty work. He did a lot of rebounding. He did a lot of good defensive stuff. He was playing really solid veteran kind of play without necessarily getting the ball or scoring. He was there doing huge defensive stuff. So I don't want to overlook Siakam and pile on him like other people are doing right now. There's no reason. Nameless saying, come back to us, Christian. We could have used you against Wemby last night. Nameless is praying for that. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, he would have been helpful for sure. John Doe's here. Good to see John Doe. Every morning, 9:30 a.m., we're talking Raptors. Tomorrow, we're doing trivia because we've had 2 days in a row. It'll be Tuesday trivia tomorrow, 9:30 a.m., if you're interested. John Doe saying, I remember the year we traded Norm. He averaged like 22 points, but the first 10 games, he shot like 19% field goal percentage. So anything can happen early. Don't want to overreact too much. There you go. This is a sound, patient person that is the right attitude. In some ways, I feel like it really is microwave culture. Everybody wants results right away these days because the internet, DoorDash, so many different things you can do that you get instant gratification from. You can't do this with basketball. Anything great that happens in basketball is something that takes time to stew and grow and cultivate. And it's like, it's like plants. You can't just grow a tree in one day. A tree takes years to grow. And that's what we got to look at with this is there's a certain level of impatience in Raptors Nation that just not as realistic and also not helpful, really not helpful. And in fact, teams that have that kind of impatience make knee-jerk reactions and trades and movement with their franchise, and they screw it up. Like the Knicks. The Knicks have been a knee-jerk reaction kind of franchise for a long time, and they don't allow anything to kind of get set in and try things very often. Really. So in some ways, that's why you don't want to run your team impatiently or with knee-jerk reactions. And I love the patience that John is professing in his comment as far as like, it's early. Let's let Gary and Siakam see if they can figure it out and get through like any kind of offensive slump that they're in right now. Yeah, I like that. I like that, John. Welcome. Troy saying, I don't know what happened, but damn, it was a good ending. Raps forever, no matter what. There you go. There you go. It's a roller coaster ride. Win or lose, ride or die is what I say, Troy Henry. Love you, Troy. MSJ saying, at Nameless, key point. I think that then it is manageable and can be resolved. And by the way, the ref tried to steal one from us with the illegal use of standing on your feet call on Siakam. Yeah. I went over that earlier. It's like, who's to say that spot on the floor was Trey Jones's? Just because Siakam stretched his leg a little further? No, it's not like he's trying to trip him or anything. Yeah, that was a bullshit call. Totally a bullshit call. Fiercely saying Pascal is having a rough patch, rooting for him, but he did tremendously help on the defense at least yesterday. Darko put OG on Wemby instead of Jakob. Yeah, well, I predicted that yesterday. It doesn't make any sense to have Jakob on Wemby if he's going to be outside so much. Put OG on him or Scotty or Siakam and let Poeltl have Zach Collins. Zach Collins was a bit of a problem last night. He was very annoying. Zach Collins, 8 of 17. He had 1 of 6 from 3, 4 for 6 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, 21 points. Annoying. He was doing stuff around Poeltl. I felt like there was some sort of like a friendly rivalry between Zach and Jakob, being teammates last year and playing next to each other. They're kind of like the two centers last year. So Jakob was starting, Zach was his backup. Now Zach is still there. So there's maybe a little bit of a teammate rivalry from before when they were teammates and maybe showing I'm the better center because I got that energy from Zach with Jakob. There was a little bit of a gamemanship there. Keldon Johnson, fantastic for the Spurs. Fantastic for my fantasy team. 11 of 18 from the field, 2 of 4, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. The huge three in that corner shot. It looked like it may have been too late, but it wasn't. It was just a couple split seconds before the shot clock ran out. That corner three that was huge at the end of regulation. Yeah, Keldon Johnson, he's a baller. He's a baller. I'm very impressed with him. Victor was awesome as advertised. 7 of 16, 2 of 7 from three, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 5 blocks for Victor at 20 points. Now, him and Keldon, this is the interesting thing. Even though these two guys were their best players, they had the lowest plus minuses of the team, minus 16 and minus 17. What does that say? Young players that play really well and get good stats for themselves, but the team isn't playing exactly right while they're out there, and their plus minus is negative, the worst negatives on the team. That's interesting to me. And that's something that Popovich is going to try and figure out why it's like that. But yeah, some of the Spurs were very interesting. Doug McDermott, very annoying off the bench with his threes, 4 of 8. He's just like that. We know about that. Malachi Branham starting an 8 for 9, shooting 16 points. The Spurs played well in a lot of ways, and they totally deserved to win this game last night, but we stole it. And in a lot of ways, we didn't deserve to win it, but we won. So I'll take it in a lot of ways. Loic is here. Good to see Spurs fan. He's crying. Loic, we love you, man. In some ways, like I said, the best, have a good game. Whatever happens, happens. We saw some very fun stuff from your team. And wow, we found out some things about our guy Scott last night. That's for sure. This is officially the coming out party of Scotty Barnes as being the man, him. And you got to see it with the Spurs the first time. I think he's going to do this to a lot of teams this season. And that y'all were just the first team. Seymour saying, at no point did I think we were going to lose. You're lying. You are lying, Seymour Pape. You are lying if you say that. Did you tune in just in the second half? I mean, golly. If you really, seriously, at no point did you think we were going to lose. You are lying, Seymour. Come on. You can't say that, man. I totally thought we were going to lose in the second quarter. I was like, man, we can't even score. We had like 30 points with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. I'm like, we can't score right now. Oh my gosh, you're crazy if you really thought we were going to win the whole time. No way you thought that, Seymour. You're lying. Tom Duke saying, Baha, you're good stuff, Loic. Good morning. I'm glad he came back. And Loic, we love you, man. Wemby's going to be so awesome. He's going to be so awesome. Oh, my gosh. That block on OG. That was crazy. OG was just like, It was so crazy. Seymour saying, Darko's great coaching job. That's right. That's one of the things I love about this is we got bona fide on 2 people that are important for us to be bona fide going forward. Darko is a good coach. He made adjustments. We came back in one of the biggest deficits in Raptors history. He made it happen. In some ways, his schemes and the way he made adjustments were perfect. And it added up to winning. So I'm like, man, I trust our coach. I have more faith and belief in him. This is very much a good game for that, building goodwill and faith in our coach, our new coach, who's trying to find a new identity as a new coach. Well, I learned a little bit about his identity yesterday, and then I learned a lot about the identity of Scotty Barnes. So in some ways, there's like 2 people that became bona fide yesterday, our coach and our young budding number 1 superstar. Yeah, I love it. Name was just saying, sup, Loic? Good game, man. Bam. And Seymour saying, OG, oh my, that's right. G saying, once they won this, Scotty finally would get some love by default because of eyes on Wemby. The league had no choice but to put some spotlight on him. Yeah, apparently this game yesterday against the Spurs was globally broadcast. They put it in like 173 countries on TV where people watch it because there was an international interest between Wemby and our guy Dennis. You know, a lot of people in Germany were watching this game, a lot of people in France, a lot of people in Asia, a lot of people in Europe, a lot of people in South America, a lot of people in Africa watching this game last night. And in some ways, that's a great platform and place for Scotty to do this kind of thing that he did last night because of how many eyes were on the game. So that was really, really good. You're right, G. Nameless is saying we're not about to dump on San Antonio right now, brother. Yeah, we won't dump on them. I'm excited for them. They have a young core and they're on the rise. And I fully predict that both the Raptors and the Spurs are going to win more games this year than Vegas and the so-called experts said at the beginning of the season. They had both these teams kind of on the outside looking in towards the playoffs. Well, I think they were wrong about both these teams, and they have to do with how quickly Victor is going to be good and how Scotty is very good now. So, yeah, I'm all about it. Fun guy saying Scotty needs a real sidekick. I'm so ready to trade Siakam. I don't think OG can be that number 2 sidekick. We need a young potential player for Siakam in a trade. Strike for you, fun guy. He's got a sidekick. He loves OG. You don't look at this tag team and think this is badass. These guys are awesome. What are you talking about, fun guy? Come on now. Come on now. Once again, we won yesterday. I want to keep our 3 amigos. These guys are sidekicks in some ways. Whatever. They're not sidekicks. They're all potential number 1 guys on given nights. And I would love to have that. Let's not get into this Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter place we were at around 2000. Where it's like, oh, they can't both be on the same team. They're both superstars. What is it going to mean? Well, Tracy and Vince both regret Tracy going to Orlando and not trying to make it work since super teams evolved. So why the fuck can't we have Siakam, Annunoby, and Barnes on the same team if super teams and big 3 stars or Golden State Warriors can exist? That's what I say. I'm going to say it over and over again. So no, fun guy, no. Everything. I don't like your first comment. Let's put it that way. Seymour saying, me and wifey watched the whole thing. She kept calling him, where to be, OG, where to be, OG. John Doe saying, I turned the game off, but that's because I was listening to the live broadcast instead with everybody in the chat talking. Okay. Well, I'm not surprised. Like, Sunday afternoon game, there's a lot of things you could be doing. You could watch the football games that are going on in the NFL. If you're a Raptors fan, but you're kind of like, I don't want to see them lose this year. You really could have turned it off and went away and not realized what was going to happen later. It is a really crazy thing. This happens every year. If we're kind of dubious whether we're good or bad, we'll have a bad game and people will be like, yeah, they suck this year. And they won't watch the next game. And then we'll be absolutely badasses and they'll miss a gem. So that's why I tell people, just watch. If you really are a diehard Raptors fan and you care, just watch. Even if it's painful and it looks painful, it may not be painful by the end of the game, just like yesterday. Cool Cat here. Good to see Cool Cat. Good morning, Raptorsfreak crew. That was a great game. I kind of felt we would win the game in the end. Great game. Be great for stop 0.5 offense. She doesn't like the 0.5 offense. She thinks it's too quick. Maybe it needs to be a 1 second offense. I think 1 second. Give them a half second more. Darko, come on. I'm with that. I love that Cool Cat is really happy about the game. I am too. And I did have a sinking feeling somewhere in the fourth quarter that we were going to win somehow, some way. I was like, let's mess around and win this game after all this craziness. We were coming back. Sean Elliott saying, yeah, the Raptors have really been playing really good in the second half, and they're coming back to threaten. And, with a coach like Popovich, it's really hard to come back against a guy like him because he's so good and he's been winning for so long. So that's a real testament to eat up a deficit like that by the end of the game against a Coach Popovich team coached. That's really not easy to do because he sees that train coming down the tracks. He's like, I got to stop this. I got to stop this. How do I stop this? I got to do this. I got to do that. And he couldn't stop it. And it kept coming, ching, 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 right down the train tracks, ching, ching, ching. And it went right on through the Scotty Barnes Express. And he couldn't stop that express. He just couldn't. He saw it coming. And if anybody can try and do that, it's engineer Greg Popovich. But no, he couldn't. He couldn't figure out how to stop it. That train was going too good with the momentum. And it was going right to the end. That's what they said. Sean Elliott said, I'm worried about the Spurs. The Raptors have all the momentum on their side at this point, near the end of the fourth quarter. Yeah, that's right. We got that momentum. We snuck and stole it from them and used it against them by the end of the game. Lumpy Rex is here. Good to see Lumpy Rex 007. A little bit of James Bond action yesterday. Yeah, good job, James, getting through there. Go Raptors. These are the character wins we need. These types of games are worth double. Yeah. I feel like it's the inverse of the Chicago game. And in some ways, everything that we felt horrible about from the Chicago overtime loss is embedded in the overtime win over the Spurs. It's like, in some ways, there's an equilibrium that was found. Does that make sense? Loic saying, what a comeback from the Raptors. La remontada. Like they say in Spain, La Remontada. Yes, Loic, thank you for being graceful. in the loss yesterday. Honestly, we had no business winning that game. You guys deserve to win that game, and I'm really impressed with Victor. You guys got such a great player, and I'm really excited to see the Spurs have major success in the future. I'm wishing the continuation of the Spurs dynasty with many more championships to come for you guys within Victor's career. And I see it happening. So get ready for more rings. How about that, Loic? That's what I'm saying to you, my man. Get ready for some more rings in the next decade, my man. And I'll be there with you celebrating. That's right. I won't be at the parade at River Walk, but I will be partying up here in celebration of Spurs victories and championships in the future. I will, my friend. I will. Cool Cat is saying Scotty and OG duo have emerged. Yes. Yes. And I still want it to be a trio. I still want it to be your guy in there too, because I believe in Siakam also. Zachy Conley's here. He's got that wrench. He's the fake wrench guy again. This is Scotty's team now. It's like he came in to the restaurant and he announced to everybody, he's like, do you need a table? And he's like, no, this is Scotty's team now. Okay, thank you. Bye. He walks right out. Love you, Zachy. And you're right. You're right. You're a fake wrench. Let's see. G saying the credit to Otto. He's a gem. And Flynn is progressing. Those two were low-key helpful too. You know, Flynn. All right, let's talk about Flynn. You brought up Flynn real quick. He was out there for a short little bit. He didn't play in the second half, which I actually really like, because in some ways we didn't need his shakiness in that point. No McDaniels, no Dick, and no Flynn. Late in the game, really Otto and Gary with the starters in this rotation at that point. But Flynn, 15 minutes, 1 of 3. He hit 1 of his 2 3-point attempts, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, no turnovers. 4 assists, no turnovers. That's good. +6, 5 points. Malachi in particular, the 3 that he made was awesome. I was like, oh, make this 3 right now, Malachi, and I love you. And he did. And in some ways he's salvageable. It's weird. He's such a weird person for me. I'm so hot and cold on him at different times. Right now, I feel okay with him. I'll say lukewarm with him right now. But yeah, on the down low, Malachi wasn't bad. And Porter, absolutely fantastic. And a big part of why we won. Cool Cat saying, I think the front office should work with Siakam to a team he would like. The Lowry respect treatment, I would say. I'm with this. If this gets to this point, and this is a Siakam #1 fan talking here, we should treat him the same way as with Lowry and Van Vliet, and with a very strong respect in helping him get what he wants. And hopefully we get stuff that we want also, for sure. It should both hands wash the other, just like the Lowry thing. The Lowry thing is the perfect kind of thing that we need to try and figure out if we're going to move Siakam. It's something like that. I'm with you on this, Cool Cat. Although I still think he can stay here and be here for a few years. It's just that it may be different, because in some ways he may not be getting the All-NBA and getting the Supermax like he would have last year if he'd gotten it. I don't know. In some ways, I'm like so 50-50 on Siakam. I really don't want to say goodbye to him, but also at the same time, I understand that this may be what's coming soon. Seymour saying Otto was definitely clutch for us. Yeah, just really sound and savvy and confident. A strong veteran confidence and will to do strong, confident, smart veteran decisions, and not just like big ones. Little things he's doing out there that are smart, with being in the right place or doing the right thing on defense, or going and getting this rebound or this block. Most saying whatever was said at halftime in the locker room. Wow. That's what I was thinking to myself at halftime. I was like, boy, this is one of those times when Darko can do his work. Is I want to see how they react to things after halftime, and whether there is something in him as a coach. And you're exactly right, Mo. That's where Darko did his work, was at halftime, getting them recalibrated and oriented right for the second half to make the push to overcome the huge deficit and ultimately get the win in overtime. Yeah, halftime. I was thinking about that too at halftime. I'm like, boy, Darko better be telling them something in halftime, what he's got to say to them. And let's see if he gets them motivated right. He did, because they played at a whole other level of energy and determinedness and togetherness in the second half that was absolutely crucial for them to complete the comeback. And that's the coach getting them ready and getting them right. And then Scotty taking that baton and saying, yeah, I want to be him. MSJ saying this game was a worldwide Sunday night Wemby game, and Scotty blew the door open. And OG, lest we forget, he held Wemby to -16 on the plus minus And Flynn, he was a +6 and 0 turnovers. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. I like everything about what you just said, Chris. Everything. Worldwide attention from the whole world seeing our Raptors. Yeah, you can't hide us forever, Adam Silver. They're going to find out about Scott. Your watchability rankings, Zach Lowe, you didn't factor in the fact that Scotty Barnes is about to be him, and everybody's going to watch him because they want to. And your watchability, putting us in like the bottom 3 teams to watch in the NBA, I think they were a little wrong. Scotty Barnes is much watched TV, and more people are going to realize that. And hopefully the NBA will put us more on the schedule to be seen in the United States because we are entertaining to watch. Trust me. Fun guy saying the only reason I say OG can't be that number 2 is because he's always injured and inconsistent. As bad as Siakam can be, he's always available to play most season. OG is not the same. Once again, fun guy, you're either dissing Siakam, you're dissing OG. Stop coming with negative comments, bro. OG is not injury prone. Fucking stop those narratives. I hate it. None of our players are injury prone. You can't say that anymore. That's stupid. I hate it. You want to know what injury prone is? Go look at Bradley Beal. Go look at Kawhi Leonard. That we don't have injury prone guys. We have guys that go out for little bits here and there. The physicality that OG plays with is going to take attacks of some sort of hurt in some ways. And it's just inevitable that man might get hurt from time to time. But I don't like this bashing. And why are you trying to figure out this hierarchy of who's number 1, number 2, number 3? Who gives a fuck? Let's just collect good, talented players and play them. And hopefully they gel and they fit well together and they play great. And that's all I care about. Once again, negative mindset coming in your comments, fun guy. Stop, please. Evelyn's here. Good to see Evelyn. Agree 100%, cool cat. So bashers, eat your heart out. That's right. Evelyn was upset with Raptors tonight, last night, with them dissing Siakam. And I know when Granny Evelyn's mad about something, she's right because she stands up and loves her Raptors in the right kind of way. So I didn't watch Raptors tonight. I'll watch it this afternoon. And I'll see if they were out of pocket with what they were saying about Siakam. But Granny Evelyn was like, I do not like what the negativity is going on Raptors tonight last night. They won. I get it. It was ugly. They missed a lot of free throws. There's a lot of things they could have cleaned up. In fact, let's do the team stats real quick. When I looked at the team stats at halftime, I was basically saying, oh, the Raptors are getting beat in everything. They were getting beat in everything, absolutely trounced. Well, by the end of the game, they evened things up. They both shot 97 shots, the Spurs and the Raptors yesterday. They made 48 of those shots, and we made 44. So we shot 45%. They shot 50%. Now, we made up the deficit at the three-point line. That's what Popovich said that was the key for us beating them was our more abundance of threes in the second half. They were just falling like crazy. We didn't even shoot a super high percentage considering how much they were going in. We shot 40% from 3 with 19 threes. They only had 10 threes made. So that's 9 more threes. That's the win right there because we didn't win it at the free throw line. That's for damn sure. I mean, we left 10 points on the 3 free throw line. We left 10 points that we could have had at the free throw line because we missed 10 free throws, which was absolutely embarrassing and pissing me off. And I was like, if we lose, well, I thought we were going to lose anyway, and we deserved to lose just from the free throw shooting. They shot way better, and we got double the free throws than them. But the Spurs announcers weren't saying the refs were crooked. They were saying that the Raptors were more aggressive to getting in the paint, and that's why they were getting rewarded with more free throws, even though we shot twice as many free throws as them. We ended up out-rebounding them. They were badly out-rebounding us at halftime, and we ended up taking that from them by the end of the game, 48-46. 29 assists for the team. I love how many assists we're getting as a team this year. Way better than like the 15 to 20 that Nick was getting in his system. We were getting out-stolen and out-blocked, but by the end of the game, we had 11 steals to their 7, so we made that up in the second half. Ended up only having 15 turnovers by the end of the game. We had most of them in the first half. Fast break points weren't that much. I feel like we had more than 7. They did beat us in points in the paint. So, yeah, the team stats did not look good at halftime, and we were pretty much getting beat in every single category. But by the end of the game, we out-rebounded them, And we damn for sure beat them at the 3-point line. That's for sure. Yeah, it was awesome. I love that stuff. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Beloved Raptor Freaks and most informative gang. Good morning. What an amazing game that was. We just have to keep on believing in our team. That's right. Blessings, 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 blessings to Randolph, blessings to Raptor Freak family, blessings to the Raptors and Scotty Barnes and Darko Rajaković. That's right. Cool Cat saying, yes, Lex, you always watch the game in its entirety. This reminds me for Lowry and the bench comeback from the 30-point deficits, the most comeback in franchise history. That's right. That's the one I count as the greatest comeback ever, was the Dallas game with Kyle Lowry. But this is up there. This is in the top 5, this comeback from yesterday. And yes, if you're a real one, you watch it all the way through. Because if you don't, you may not get that reward that's at the end. Jimmy's saying, what a crazy game. I was so fuming when they called that foul on Siakam. Crazy it wasn't overturned. They're really trying to mess us up. Pascal will turn it around. We're a better team with him, period. There you go. I'm going to give Jimmy a dunk for standing up for Siakam on a day when many people are throwing him under the bus unnecessarily. And there really is no reason to come after Siakam. It's not like he made boneheaded plays and lost us the game or anything. He just basically didn't have a good shooting game offensively. But honestly, everything else he did out there was fantastic, honestly. Thank you, Jimmy, for standing up for him. I'm with you. Fun Guy saying, you know what? We might have been shit all these years because of the fact that Siakam is always available and playing. Laugh out loud. Think about it. Without him to start 2 years ago due to surgery, we were 8-5. All right, that's just unnecessary, Fun Guy. You're getting a strike. That's not a correlation that we're looking to extrapolate and find. Well, this is not like true anyway. That sounds like that's bullshit, man. Come on. MSJ saying Flynn, he was to be the 7th star of the night. He was the 7th star of the night to you. All right, MSJ, you're getting a dunk for being funny because you just made Flynn your 7th star of the night. That's kind of funny. I like that. Cool Cat saying at Evelyn, I'm a Pascal stan and I'm good with us moving him. A win-win situation for our team and Siakam. Yeah, I'm not totally with this because in some ways I don't like how easily Cool Cat's like, we could trade him. I'll be all right with this as a fan of Siakam. Some people are saying we need to trade him to Philly so he can be with Nick. No, we do not. There's somebody saying, oh, yeah, put him on Philly with Joel. Then they have the Cameroonian connection. No, we do not. You guys are fucking stupid if you want to trade Siakam to the Sixers. Nowhere in the Eastern Conference. That man needs to go west. I'm sorry. No, that's the thing. You don't get your guys that you had on your team to come back on Eastern rivals, and then it comes some bullshit like what's going on with Nick. That's part of the reason why I'm pissed at Nick, is because he chose to be in the Atlantic Division. He could have been out in the desert with Kevin Durant, but he decided to come and be close to us. Listen, we moved Siakam. He needs to go out west. At the worst, he needs to go to a shitty Eastern team if he's going to be hanging around in the Eastern Conference like Charlotte or Orlando. But no, he does not need to be going to somebody like Philadelphia or the Celtics or something like that. Y'all are crazy thinking that kind of stuff. So if he's going to get moved, he needs to go out west. And I don't even care if he's on the Lakers if he goes out west. He can just go somewhere else out west, not on an Eastern team if he is going to get moved. And I'm very hesitant to move him still. In some ways, Siakam is a success story that we continue to reap major rewards from coming from where he came from. And I like getting those benefits still. Now, we'll just have to see what's going on. There's a lot of dubiousness about the Raptors' future with different things, with the ownership and different things like that. And I don't know what's in the plans for next summer. Next summer could be very strange. Let's just put it that way. Fun Guy saying, if it was COVID, he wouldn't be around the guys, nameless. Laugh out loud. Come on, man. It's definitely something else. Some type of complication maybe from COVID, but he definitely doesn't have COVID or he's away. No, what Tom's going to explain is long COVID and COVID protocols are not strict like they used to be. Well, it's this. If it's COVID, it's the effects of getting COVID and it ravaged his lungs and he has a respiratory problem that is not contagious. That's how it works, Fun Guy. He may have had COVID at one point and it messed up his lungs. And they're doing diagnostics on his lungs, listening to them. And they're like, something's not right here. And they're like, yeah, I have a shortness of breath, or I'm not able to exert and go as I used to. Yeah, there's something wrong with your respiratory system because of maybe a long COVID complication. And that's not necessarily contagious. That's just damage done by the virus. to his lungs. It's like people have had brain damage after the virus. They've had other issues with different things after getting COVID. That's what long COVID is. It's not that you have COVID still. It's you're dealing with issues that when you had COVID, it did damage to your body. It doesn't mean you're contagious still. It just means that your organs got fucked up. So that's what we're talking about and speculating with Koloko when it says a respiratory issue and he's not contagious. It's long COVID damage is what we're saying. Does that make sense? Monique saying auto equals automatic, Seymour. Yeah. Automatic threes, automatic vet presence that calms things down. And we love it. You keep using them for that. Sure, first half, get those youngsters out there. Let them do Nick Nursery stuff. Yeah. But later, when it's time to win the game, put in Otto Porter Jr. and Dennis Schroeder and the vets that know how to carry a team to a victory. That's what I'm saying right there. Wayne Strainer saying, greetings, freaks. Didn't see the game, just listened through Amateur Sports, who was streaming. This was about basketball. Ugly, boring, exciting, and accomplished execution. We won, and let's all enjoy it. That's right. No reason to be negative. We got enough negativity on other days. We got to win. And this is a reaction to a win. So we keeping it positive here on the Raptor Freak channel. That's right, Wayne. Love you, brother. Hope you're doing great. Happy Monday. Nameless is saying, I guess I'm just really concerned for the young man and how it affects our team. I won't mention it again. It's just that it's tired. I don't know how to update you on this. I don't know how to give you a little bit of another kernel of an information about Koloko because there's nothing. There's nothing. It's all quiet on the Western Front. And we ain't hearing jack shit about Koloko in updates or anything. So until I get an update, then I'll bring it up. But in some ways, I just feel like I'm a broken record when we start talking about Koloko right now. It's all good, brother. I know we're all concerned for him. And when we get news, we'll definitely talk about it. It's this kind of thing where we just got to wait. Fun guy saying, sorry, I just read your comment, Nameless. I agree. It's not COVID. It's something else. Perhaps a tick, as mentioned. You think he's got Lyme's disease or something? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a respiratory issue. That's all we know. That's all we know. Loic saying, I yelled too many times at the female ref. Worst ref ever. Well, that's she. That's not a she. That is a they. That is a they. That is a transitioning individual who is, in some ways, I could tell that they want to be like Zach Zarba. I think at one point, your guy, Land, he miscalled Shea Flores as Zach Zarba. And in the call of your game, they're like, Zach Zarba inbounded the ball. And they're like, no, that's Shea Flores, trans ref. I think that Shea is awesome. It was Cheryl last year. It's now Shea. And I support them and what they're doing. And they were great ref yesterday. What are you talking about, Loic? They were awesome. They were so good. I love Shea Flores. They are awesome ref. What great reffing to get us there to the Raptors victory. Name is saying, was that a female bro? No, that's the trans ref, y'all. And y'all, let's have some respect. We're forward-thinking channel. We're not, anti-trans, and we're not like progressive enough to not give the due respect to an individual that wants to be trans. And it's a they. It's a they. It's not a she. It's not a he. It's a they. And I am proud of the NBA for having the first ever trans official in major sports. So yeah, you guys can laugh about it. You guys can do that. That's fine. I'm not giving you any strikes, but I'm not going to put any light on it. And saying, fun guy saying, hell no, Lex, I disagree. Get Siakam out of here. Okay, I'm going to disagree. Just don't stand on that hill too hard here because it'll piss me off. Let's just say that. All things will happen in the natural way they're supposed to. And in some ways, I don't want to be part of the people that are like, yeah, I'm glad he's gone. No, fuck that. He's a great Raptor of all time. And we need to treat him like that. Cool Cat is exactly right. We need to work with him on his departure, if he is departing, and make it similar to what happened with Lowry. Yeah. Tom Duke saying, nah, he's right. Sorry, fun guy. See, thanks for standing up for me, Tom Dukey. And Chriscom saying, yo, Lex. Yo, Chriscom. Did you predict yesterday? What did y'all say? Y'all said like 9 points. What did it end up being? It ended up being 7 points. So somebody said 6 points yesterday. I remember that. I think somebody said 6. Somebody said 8. Somebody said 9. So we were right around there. It was 7 with y'all's predictions for the score yesterday. Let's see. Wayne's saying people are crazy talking smack about Pascal. Yes, he needs to do more offensive adjustments, but he's a positive on this team. His role is changing and he's learning in real time. Pascal will rise. Yes, Wayne Strainer. And yes, we believe in Siakam. We love him. And he's a huge, huge success story for the Raptors. And we support him. Real ones support him. And we don't kick him while he's down. And we don't say, get the fuck out. That's the thing that's bugging me right now. A fun guy saying, laugh my ass off. Let's not ignore the fact that we won despite Siakam and not because of him. No, fuck that. You're going to get strikes. Seriously. In some ways, I might time you out for the day. Seriously. If you're going to be doing this, we did not win despite him. He was huge in how we won last night. You have to pay more attention, fun guy. That man was making his defensive assignments. And the only way that we come back is if all 5 guys on the court are playing in a veteran sound together way on defense, holding the Spurs from scoring more to come back and close the deficit. That's the only way it happens. So it's a team effort, and Siakam played heavy minutes in the second half. He was not taken away from us winning. He was helping us win. So you can't say we won and despite him just because he didn't carry the water and score the points. He was doing solid shit all around on the court. And I'll die on this hill and say this over and over again. In some ways, you're pissing me off, fun guy. There's no reason to diss Siakam. You're taking the easy bait that negative Raptor fans are doing right now. That, oh, look at Siakam's stat line and just bash him. What the fuck is the point of that? He played really well last night, and casuals think that he didn't play well last night. Real ones understand there's intangibles, there's defense, there's all kinds of other shit he's doing out there other than just scoring baskets. So you go look at his stat stuff in lineup. Let me look at it again. I'll look at his stat sign right now. We won't even look at the shooting. 2 of 12. I get it. Whatever. Factor in Wemby or something. Maybe those shots are a little hesitant because of Wemby effect or something. I don't know. 8 points. He was perfect at the free throw line, which with 10 missed free throws last night, I'm going to give him points just for being one of the few guys who didn't miss a free throw in the game last night. OG 1 of 4 at the free throw line. Scotty missed 4 free throws himself. Poeltl missed the only 2 he got. Schroeder missed a free throw, and Siakam made all 3 of his. 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. That is what I'm talking about right there. He stat stuff. So he was doing a lot of stuff. I'm sorry. Chris comes saying, great game. I had Raps by 8, but it was close enough. Yeah, 7. You see, you said 8, so it was 7. That's good stuff. Chris comes saying, laugh out loud. Dallas, we coming for you next. I know. Let's go play Luka and Kyrie next. This is fun. Now, seriously, we don't need no slippery floor, Mark Cuban. You better fucking make sure your floor isn't slippery, because we cannot have any kind of bullshit like what happened last year when we came to Dallas happen again. So you better have your little scrubber people ready and better have that ice really frozen underneath that court, because there ain't going to be no accidents this year, Mark Cuban. That's right. Yeah, I'm going to be watching that. G saying, even if Siakam becomes the option 2 or 3, the problem with trading is whom do you get back? Do we want someone competing with Scotty? It's not so black and white. Okay, so this is the way I look at it, G. If we're going to move Siakam, we don't want another superstar player. What we want to get is possibly like a really good, like we want to fill out our bench, honestly. In some ways, that's really what we want to do. In some ways, we'll have an open starting spot, so there'll be competition, but we may want to add like 2 really, really good players that aren't superstars, but they're absolutely solid as far as they're really good shooters, they're veteran, and they're also players that are very dependable. If we can get 2 guys like that, I don't know names off the top of my head and what team, that would be helpful, because then we could kind of have more of what we need around Scotty, which what people are saying is we need better shooters. So we need a couple of guys that are bona fide top level shooters in this league. And if we can get 2 of those guys for Siakam, and they're at the second level, just below like superstar, maybe starters, but maybe also one of them is a bench 6-man or something, that would be the right kind of deal. Now, it may not be exactly that. It could be like 3 players, draft picks. You know, if it's a package like what Utah got for Gobert or Mitchell, hey, it's something like that is kind of what we're looking at. I mean, Rudy Gobert, you can get what you got, or Lillard even this summer. If you can get anything that's similar to those kind of deals for Siakam, in some ways that could really help our team, because it may bolster us with a little bit more talent on our bench. Because in some ways our bench looks like our weakness once again. that we have guys come in the second unit, and the game play for the Raptors just drops off. So in some ways, if you trade Siakam, you want to bolster the bench with better bench guys, is basically what I would say. Nameless is saying, and they're shooters. They are shooters. Nameless is saying, I think in 2 or 3 years, when Wemby's jumper starts dropping even more, he's going to be unstoppable. He's already unstoppable to a degree. It's just, once again, much like Scott, he's got to get oriented and learn the NBA speed and size and the way it works, the schedule, going to travel, just being a pro. There's really learning that in the beginning. And then as you get more comfortable and understanding this is what being in the NBA is, then you can start trying to discover taking over and being the man. And it'll be a similar thing. And it may be sooner with Victor than Scotty. Scotty took 2 years and he's starting it in his third year. Well, Victor could be starting this by the end of his first year or in this beginning of his second year is what I'll predict with him, because he's already kind of doing it. The fact that he got 38 points already in an NBA game is a very big harbinger of what's to come. Let's just put it that way. Kareem saying, quick shout out to Victor for breathing new life to Coach Pop. He was looking rough since the Kawhi trade. Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to retire or not. It's really weird. He was probably in this weird limbo the last couple of years. It's like, I understand Wembyama's coming, and I'd love to land him. So let me see. Let's see how bad this team could be as far as like we'll trade all of our good players and we'll kind of like play good style of trying to win, but it's not adding up. And if we land him, it could be he may have decided, because he did make his extension after they drafted him. If they had missed out on Victor in the draft this year, he might have retired this summer. Seriously. Like that, the whole timing of that was very interesting, because as soon as Victor came in and he was a Spur, Coach Popovich signed another extension. So it could have very well been the very end of his career, because he's like, well, I don't want to coach like if we're really doing a rebuild unless it's with Victor, and that's what happened. So he definitely has breathed in new life to him for sure, Kareem, for sure. Fiercely saying, I want to be patient with Siakam. People forget how much of a slump Scotty was in last year. Now that he's doing good, they poop on Siakam. That bothers me. They all go through phases. Yeah, once again, negative people just want to be negative. Why don't y'all just be positive and talk about the positive shit? There's no reason to be dumping on any Raptors. We won yesterday. And that's the thing that bugs me. I don't agree that Scotty had a slump last year. Scotty just played the way he was supposed to play in his second year, which was similar to his first year. He didn't actually get any worse. He didn't do any worse. It's just that he didn't make the jump he's making right now last year. So everybody thought he was a fail. Yeah, that was dumb. He just kept the plateau from the first year into the second year. There's nothing wrong with that. Some guys jump at different times. Well, the third year jump is a real thing with Scott. And yeah, I never agreed with people kind of perceiving Scotty as having a down year last year. That's absolute poppycock. That's wrong. He did not have a down year last year. He had a good second year also. Yeah, and I don't like how they're shitting on Siakam right now at all. Cool Cat saying, thank you for pointing out Pascal's contribution. Unfortunately, some of our fan base is clowning him. So for his mental health, best for him to hopefully to another team. See, she's pissed at Raptors Nation. And she's like, y'all don't deserve him. Let's go ahead and leave Siakam. Let's go ahead and leave. Yeah, that's wrong. And listen, don't listen to those people, Cool Cat. We know that we have a bunch of jabroni idiots that are they're immature. A lot of them are just dumb people. And yeah, I mean, hopefully he's not looking at any of it. He shouldn't be. He should be just as happy as everybody else and valuing the victory. He was a part of it. And, it's not like he's cut out from what happened yesterday and he wasn't a part of it, like Fun Guy's trying to say. No, he was a huge contribution to it. You're saying they won despite him? That's bullshit. That's a bullshit. MSJ saying, I think it's rather up to Siakam. He's a terrific player and they can coexist, all of them. But Siakam has it in his mind. He needs to be the team leader. Where is he going? I hope he stays. I don't know if that's true, Chris. I think you're putting words into Siakam's mouth when you say he needs to be the team leader. I don't think that's true. In fact, that's part of his personality that's kept him from being the team leader, is I think he's okay with being the secondary guy and not the top guy. In some ways, he was way more comfortable having Kawhi around, way more comfortable earlier in his career than having the brunt of all the responsibility on his shoulders. In some ways, this may be a relief to him, what happened last night with Scott. I don't think he's selfish in the way it was like, okay, you're taking my spotlight and I hate it. No, that's not what these aren't things that Siakam cares about. He cares about winning and getting better as a player himself. And in some ways, that's a really weird thing to kind of like think that Siakam has a problem with what's happening. No, I don't think so. I really don't think he has a problem with it at all. I think they can coexist, and I don't think it has it in his mind that he needs to be the team leader. In fact, in some ways, he's not a natural team leader. And in some ways, this may be actually very like, oh my gosh, thank you, Scotty, for getting better. Now I have some of the stress and pressure off of my shoulders next to you. And I can still be really good and carry us at times. But in some ways, if you're more the figurehead number one, you may take some of the stress off Siakam, and it may make Siakam play even better now. Like we could see a totally different Siakam against Dallas. And it's partly because the pressure is off of him because of what I just said. Cool Cat saying Scotty and OG's chemistry continues from last year. We saw a glimpse of it with Nick when he would put them together with the bench. Yeah. Yeah, they just got a good friendship, and it makes sense. They want to see each other succeed, and they enjoy being around each other and traveling together. Yeah. Fun guy saying, no, I want more depth. Scotty is one in a million talent. I'm not worried about who's going to come complete with him when an all NBA and Siakam and a guy like OG can't even compete. Laugh out loud. Scotty needs help. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck you, fun guy. I'm going to say that today. Fuck you with the way you're going about things today. I love you, guy. I know you're my big guy in Mississauga, but fuck you with this negativity today. That's exactly not what I want in the stream today, what you're bringing. G saying, true, Fiercey. The roles were reversed last season. Pascal was carrying and Scotty was slumping for a bit. We need to see what happens when teams adjust their defense on Scotty. See, that's what I'm saying. I want multiple weapons. Why not have, like, do gun collectors just want one gun at their house? No, they want like 100 guns. So we want an arsenal. We want a lot of different people that can go and do things for us at different times. And this is the thing that's different. OG and Pascal may not be the kind of player that Scotty is to take over and be the number one and carry us right at the end. And that's why it's so important that Scott showed this yesterday. But in some nights, maybe OG can be maybe there's 2 games a year where OG scores like almost 40 points and he does that role like he did in New York one time. Or maybe Pascal does another New York 50 or something. That's the thing. In some ways, if Scott can more regularly carry us and more directed, like purposefully carry us, some ways Siakam and OG are not able to purposely carry us because they don't have as much power over the game as Scotty does. But in some ways, they add up and help him to have the power to do it. Or in some nights, they may have that power, and we may want to tap into it still. I'm all about having guys and not getting rid of them more and more. And I understand, though, you're saying, oh, you could trade Siakam for a couple good players. I don't do the job. The front office does. We'll just see what they do. And y'all don't do it either. And so we'll just see what they do. Trust in Messiah. Let's see. Cool Cat saying Scotty's game showed out in primetime and globally. France national game, U.S. national game. I envision more U.S. national games due to Scotty's performance. Yeah, I think so. I mean, Adam Silver wants to make money. Well, the young man named Scotty Barnes is a guy you can really market, make him a golden boy, and boom, you're going to make more money. Trust me, he's got that. Like, just like those guys, top level guys like LeBron. Seriously. Fiercely saying, when the team was doing really bad, we couldn't wait till Siakam came back from injury. All the posts about speedy recovery past Spicy P or comebacks Pascal, people have a short-term memory. I know. It's very much like Janet Jackson's What Have You Done For Me Lately song. Dun, 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 dun. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what have you done for me lately, Siakam? Well, played good defense, rebounded, played within the team scheme, and helped us win. That's what he did lately. Fun guy saying, gee, what are you talking about? It's Scotty's 3rd year. Defenses have been focusing on Scotty a long time ago. I've seen Scotty double teamed a lot since drafted. They know who Scotty is. I don't even remember what G's comment was. Listen, Scotty has not been the focus of team defenses, but he's going to be more and more now. That's not totally true. The focus of team defenses has been Pascal, and he has had to work more against double and triple teams than Scotty has. In some ways, Scotty is a kind of player that they've left alone and dared him to shoot outside. So I don't know where you're getting this from. They're catching up to what Scotty can do. Like, that was a wake-up call yesterday, and there could very well be different coverages for Scott starting on Wednesday with Dallas. So, no, this is not true, fun guy. They have not been building defenses around guarding Scott. They've been building them around guarding Siakam. And Scotty has been benefiting from that. Now they're going to put more focus on Scotty, and he may go through a downtime now just because he's getting more focused and double teamed. So don't be surprised by that. That's the way it works. Adjustments. It could be that they go and shift from Siakam to Scotty, and now all of a sudden Siakam has an easier time. So, pay attention to that. You may see that you're absolutely wrong and that G is right. And that the defenses may switch more on Scott and keying on him. And all of a sudden, Siakam's getting easier offense. Nameless is saying OG is like Scotty's best friend. I can't imagine OG going anywhere. Yeah, I don't want him to go anywhere, partly because of that. That is part of the reason why I don't want him to go anywhere. You keep OG, you keep Scotty. MSJ saying we might want to slow on the comments, or Lex is going to be here till 9:30 tomorrow. Are there a lot of comments going forward? I guess I haven't really made a lot of steam. You guys did fill it up. Let's see. G is saying I got an hour. I want to finish in an hour. So cut off if right now. G saying last season he was not his best, and Pascal was the one they planned around. In a few games, we'll see more pressure on Scotty. They'll leave him open at the 3, and this may help Siakam in the other one. See, G and I thinking the same way. I just said this, and he wrote it an hour ago. Fun guy saying, bro, if teams press Scotty in perimeter, they're done. Even more pathway for Scotty. Teams are not ready. Scotty's only going to get older and better. I agree with this, and he showed that. It's like Wemby came at him and he went around him and then he attacked the rim. No, this is true what you're saying too, fun guy. And that's more the reason why they're going to have to double Scott more, and it'll get easier for Siakam. Kareem's saying, I want Pascal on this team. The faster Pascal realizes that his Robin things will fall into place. I'm just scared that Barnes' come up may lead to Pascal's demise. Hope Pascal figures it out and stays positive. Yeah, I don't think that he gets upset when other team players around him get going well. Think about Fred and Fred's role of being kind of a second banana next to Siakam. When Fred would shine and step up and take over, it's not like Siakam was upset with him. It's not like he was upset with him for helping him carry. So, yeah, I think that I don't think that Siakam is a selfish guy. Like, it's not. Everybody's saying selfish a lot this season. He's definitely not selfish in that way. I think that the selfishness, once again, was the system of Nick putting him in heavy isolation. And that's the only reason why people would perceive him that way. He was just doing what the coach told him to do. He's not selfish for like what he wants on the court or who he is, his stats. He's not selfish for those things. I really don't think he is. Shaq Lindsay saying there's a price to keep Pascal at the expense of OG. Scotty has given the front office flexibility to build around Scotty and OG. Well, we'll have to see when these paths cross. When we get to these points and junctures, we'll see what Bobby and Masai do, and I just trust them. G saying even young teams starting hot tend to go down in standings once teams adjust. Scotty is a superstar, but we need to see what happens when teams game plan around his new bag. Will leave others open. Also, it's going to depend on teams we play. If they're very veteran and they're very good teams, like top level teams in this league, some of the stuff that Scott did yesterday won't be so easy. In some ways, it is the less experienced Spurs that we were able to do some of the Scott takeover stuff because of that. Now, he'll be able to do that against some of the lesser experienced teams, like maybe even Oklahoma City or Orlando or the team Charlotte, but he may not be able to do that kind of shit against Golden State or even Boston. That's the thing. If he can do it against Boston, hell yeah, I'm all about that. He's more likely to be able to do it against Boston than Golden State. But it's like these very veteran, savvy teams. In some ways, Scott may not be able to be the man and carry like he did last night because there will be smarter people out there to try and stop him in vet ways. Does that make sense? In some ways, the opponent and the matchup was conducive for what we did in the comeback yesterday. Let's see. Nako's saying, I think the amount of talent that we're losing from losing Fred was being exaggerated. Pascal and Scotty can exist, but you should prioritize OG, and you should be aware if you can't match Pascal's offer. Yeah. If I'm putting them in a hierarchy, obviously Scotty's the most valued player on the Raptors. OG may be second, and Siakam may be third, as far as the way I look at it. As far as if we're looking at those three, that's the way I would prioritize them. I would. Cool Cat saying Pascal has no space to use his skills on this roster, so trade him for bench point guard and more shooters for Scotty to give him space instead of using Siakam as the fourth option. I don't think he's the fourth option. I would say that Siakam's still the second option as of right now. It's just in some ways the water is not getting totally directed to him. Once again, I'll say it's partly because of the respect for him and his body work already that teams are maybe keying on him or double covering him more than the other Raptors. And in a very equal offensive scheme like Darko's, the ball doesn't fall in his basket as much. It's like Plinko. You put the Plinko chip on Price is Right and it falls down. And sometimes the Plinko chip falls into one slot more often than others. And it's just Siakam is getting blocked away from going into his slot and the ball finding him. So he's not getting as much field goal attempts as he did last year. It's part of the egalitarian system of Darko, along with defensive, it's kind of trying to channel water away from Siakam. Does that make sense? Now, they may want to channel water away from Scott going forward after last night, and maybe the water falls in Siakam's bucket more often because of that. So we have to see. This is a development that causes wrinkles, and sometimes an emergence of a player like Scott allows the guy who was the top player before to have a renaissance because there's way more focus on the new guy and the damage he could do. So that's what I'm looking at. I don't ever see Siakam as being a fourth option. At the very least, he's the second option. He's never going to be the option lower than OG, seriously. In some ways, OG is not an option. I still want him to just play within the flow. I don't want to give him the ball and do things off the dribble. That's a bad idea. OG's not a good player in that situation. Fun guy saying, there it is. You think Scotty has a new bag or is doing something new? Nope. Narrative was written about Scotty. He's always had this bag, but had Van Vliet and Bums taking touches away. That's wrong. Man, Fun guy, you are so off base today. That is so wrong. That is not, you're following the narrative of bullshit artists from last year. No, Scotty wasn't ready last year. It's kind of like a bud. It's like a something that grows. And he's not at the level, the larvae stage or whatever. You know, if he's a cocoon, he was in a cocoon. He wasn't ready to come out as a butterfly last year. That's the thing. They weren't holding him back last year. He wasn't ready. If he wanted to do this last year, he had a lot of chances to do this last year. He needed this offseason of conditioning, working on his shot, getting to this level of working so hard this offseason, and then he's getting the results shown on the court. He couldn't do this last year. Nobody was holding him back. This is just bullshit. Once again, man, your negative comments are pissing me off. I'm not going to strike you out. I'm going to give you immunity. But I'm going to tell you this. If we win games and we're going to do reaction streams, I don't want you coming in with this bullshit. I'm going to say it just like Jack. Get this garbage out of here, Fun guy. Seriously. That's a horrible take. It's wrong, first of all, because Scotty wasn't budding yet as a rose opening up the petals. He was still a little bud, and he was closed up last year. He needed to open his petals now. You don't think he would have fucking done this shit for us last year if he could do it last year? Nobody was holding him back from doing this last year. We were calling out for a hero. If he was ready to be a hero last year, he would have stepped up and done it last year. He wasn't ready. Nobody held him back. It's a bullshit take. All right, let's see. MSJ saying, I like Dennis as well. With Wemby, he really, in truth, cannot cover a small guard like Dennis. Even Barnes blew by him. I think teams will expose this on him, switch a guard on him at the three-point line. I like the way you're thinking. And this is the way coaches are going to have to start thinking to try and figure out ways to try and deal with Wemby. Yeah, they're going to have to start thinking this way. Did you see that box out that Dennis did on Wemby underneath the basket? So smart. So smart. Keeping Wemby underneath the basket in a way so that he could get that rebound. Really, 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 really smart box out by Dennis Schroeder on Victor Wembanyama. There's somebody who's like got a foot and a couple inches on him. He still out-rebounded him on that one play, and it was an important key rebound to get at that time. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Chris, and I agree. There's kryptonite for Victor, and it could be in a small guard. I think you're exactly right. In some ways, this may, people are saying Victor and them coming in or changing the game. They may have saved small guards existing in this league, honestly, because the remedy, the antidote for a big player like that, like him and Chet, is in some ways a Marquise Noel. Seriously, it is a Marquise Noel. Chris is saying, I still think Chet is the more complete player. I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. We'll see. Time will tell. Fun guy saying, it's not a coincidence, bro, that he's doing this with Van Vliet gone. All right, I already answered you on that. And shut the fuck up, fun guy. Seriously, you're pissing me off today. There's no reason to diss Fred right now. Fred is not in the equation anymore. Dana's saying, I bought my son the IBM warm up jacket they wear. He loves it. That's cool. I like that. Your very tall son, who hopefully is going to be playing a lot of basketball on cool levels. Kareem saying, Chet couldn't hold Wemby's jock strap. What the hell you guys watching? There you go. Kareem Thomas, I'm with him. I'm with him on that. I agree with that. They've gone head to head already. And I believe Victor won, right? I'm not sure. Fun guy saying Victor Wembanyama is seriously the only player I've ever actually drooled about. This guy could be the best to ever play. There you go. This is a better comment, fun guy. This is a positive comment, even if it's about somebody on the other team. But this is positive. This is a positive comment. And I love it. I agree. In some ways, he's really fun to watch because you do feel like you're looking into the future when you watch him. It's weird. G saying, I talked about Scotty's draft night. I knew his reports said it would be his third year following Kawhi's trajectory, but realistically, teams have not adjusted to this new game, and we need to see before making rash decisions how this looks in a few months, in my opinion. Yeah, we can't expect the same thing every single night. In fact, y'all will be setting up for disappointment in Scott, and you'll probably repeat some of the shit that you've done with Siakam the last couple of years if you don't think about this realistically. Like I said, some of this was the matchup. Some of this was the whole settings of the whole thing. And I hope he does this more regularly all the time, but there's no guarantees on that. And also the adjustments by other teams are going to have ripple effects. Well, they're adjusting on Scotty. Well, hopefully we go heavy on Siakam instead. Yeah. Seymour Pape saying, I'm a fun guy. You drooling over this, man. That's funny. Kareem saying, shout out to Porter Jr. He's hitting timely shots and seems to be spacing the floor incredibly. Yeah. Pause, fun guy. Drooling over Wemby. Yeah, I agree with Otto Porter. Fantastic veteran infusion of three-pointers and just know-how. Nameless is saying, Dennis is starting to look comfortable. Yeah, he's looking like FIBA Dennis. He's looking like a new level of Dennis Schroeder just in general. Once again, everybody who says that Dennis shouldn't start, he's graduated to being an NBA starter. FIBA World Cup MVP does that for people. And he's just got that kind of confidence and veteranness to himself that we value him being our starting point guard. He's one of the leaders in assists in the NBA right now. And having a true point guard and a true center is a very good thing for the Raptors. It just is. Name is saying we can now see the genius of Masai. That's right. Dennis is a good pickup and a good job by Masai and Bobby. Rely on Masai. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying Scotty was the best player to come out of the 2021 draft. Evan Mobley and Jalen Green, who don't even compare. You know, if you ask me who's closest to him at this point, it's either Cade or Franz. And Evan Mobley is starting to bust this year. His stat lines have been really unimpressive so far this year. And a lot of it is bullshit, what they've said about Evan Mobley for a couple of years now. A lot of it's bullshit. Scotty, the cream rises to the top. Just like Macho Man Randy Savage says, cream of the crop. You just rise to the top. And that's what you're doing right now. Fun guy saying, at G, what new bag are you seeing, though? Laugh out loud. I'm seeing the same Scotty, only having the ball more, which equals better production, and still his usage isn't there because of Siakam. All right, whatever you happened to you this morning. You woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't know what's wrong with you right now, fun guy. All right, this is what happened with Scott, and I documented this all summer. You were around. You should have known this. At the end of the season, Scotty said he wasn't happy with his performance this year on defense. He felt like his conditioning was very poor and that he couldn't play at the level he wants to play at. He recognized he couldn't play like he's playing right now last year. So this offseason, he went so hard on his conditioning and shooting his threes. He really, really practiced his threes. You can tell that from the way he's shooting right now, especially from yesterday. He's way more confident. His shot has a better fundamentals to it, and it's going through more often. He also very much worked on his conditioning. We barely saw him on Twitch. He was not dealing with the video games like before. He was doing conditioning training. He did all this between the play-in game against the Bulls and this season. So everything you're seeing right now is because of his off-season training and workout. It was not something he had last year. And he would tell you that himself. He said, I couldn't do what I'm doing this year right now, last year, because I didn't have the conditioning built up. So you're wrong, fun guy. Do you hear what I'm saying right now? He could not do what he's doing right now last year because he didn't have his conditioning built up or his three-point shot as many times as he did this summer. He shot 1,000 threes every single fucking day this summer. And he became a better three-point shooter and a better conditioned athlete. That is why he's better this year than he was last year. That's why he's making a jump right now. You don't think that this motherfucker wouldn't have done the jump last year and helped us in a lot of the games we were in last year if he could physically do it last year? You're completely wrong with your take. And if you listen to me right now, you will understand what I'm saying is true. Seriously, don't compare Scotty last year to this year. It's a totally different person. And that person wasn't there last year. Seymour saying Scotty's poster on Sohan was my favorite moment of the game. That was cool. That was really cool. That was very dominant. G saying he shot 28% from three last season. They lag off him because of that, which clogs the paint for others. Now they have to respect it and step up, which may create spacing. He's more aggressive now, too. This was what my counterpoint was to people all summer, saying that the spacing on the Raptors sucks. It's all messed up. Well, I said, well, what if Siakam and Barnes start hitting their threes better? That'll change everything with the spacing, and that is what's happened. I predicted this. Oh, God forbid the Raptors actually get better at shooting threes, and that changes everything for them. That's what's happened, and they need to understand that. Even OG's shooting three way better this year than he did last year, even. Like, he's really dialed in right now. Nameless is saying, we needed Koloko to really try and stop Victor, nearly as long, just as mobile. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in some ways, Victor stopped himself. I don't know. He's a youngster. He needs to fill out. He's got to get his conditioning for the NBA up. In some ways, they had to bench him because he got tired. There were a lot of times where he just got tired, and Pop has to sit him. He had to sit him late to let him go for the last little bit, too. G saying his handle has improved and his shot selection is better. He has definitely developed the bag. Talking about Scotty. Yeah, there's a lot of different things. A lot of different things that are different than last year. Cool Cat saying Scotty 4 is now the top draft pick of 2021, surpassed the rest of that draft. The U.S. media that clowned him for his shooting and calling him a screener laugh now. That's right, Cool Cat. I'm with you on that. Seymour saying this is the only space for Raptors news for me. If you hit up negative spaces, please leave that there. This is a happy place for Raptor Freaks. There you go, Seymour. I love you for that. Cece's here. Good to see longtime Raptor Freak Cece. Hi, I got a new cell and I got locked out of my YouTube. Thank you to the person who gifted me a membership. Awesome, Cece. We love you, Cece. Always happy to see you when you pop into the chat. Cool Cat saying, we'll be back off to a meeting. That was at 10 o'clock. She might be back by now. Kareem saying, Scotty sophomore slump to Scotty All-NBA. What the hell did he do over the season? And whatever he did, let's document it, publish it, and store it in a vault and bury it under a pub in Kensington Market. Bury it underneath the Kensington Variety. This is what I'll say he did, because I know exactly what he did. He quit the video games all summer. He worked out like crazy. He probably did 2 a days. He ate better. His nutrition is better. You can see in his body, his fat is different. And also his complexion is different. His skin looks healthier because he probably cut out a lot of the really bad food he was eating last summer on Twitch. You know, there's a couple of things he probably did very different this summer that allowed him to make this leap this year. I think it's diet, conditioning, and a lot of reps shooting threes is what I'm saying. So I think that was the secret recipe right there. Fun guy saying, sorry, G, but there's a lot wrong with your sentence, and this chat is perhaps not the place to detail, but pretty easy to shoot 28% when you're starting point guards 5'11" with horrible passing angles. Once again, you know what? I'm going to just time you out for today. I'm going to put you in timeout. I'm not hiding you, but you're timed out for the rest of the day. I'm not reading any more of your comments because you are not getting the vibe of what we're trying to do here today. Fred's not on our team. I don't know why you're talking about him. Smooth saying, great win. The Scotty Barnes era is officially on. That's right, Smooth Brown, man. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Nameless is saying that hot potato pass Wemby threw right over OG and Scotty. Click saying, this is Scotty's team. Get what you can for Pascal. Trade for bench depth and more shooting. There you go. I can get behind that, Click. If that's what Masai and Bobby decide at this point, it sounds like it may be a smart thing. But once again, they make that decision. Shaq saying getting 3 really great shooters, being one being a point guard for Pascal should be the asking price. That's not a bad idea. See, listen, you guys are making sense to me right now. In some ways, I'll be like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this. I'm still hesitant about it, but I'm open to talking about it. How about that? All right, I'm going to read one more of his deleted messages, and that's it. He's saying, yeah, Lex, I'm just giving constructive criticism to Siakam and constructive advice to trade him also. No hate, not personal. I don't see that. In fact, you're showing hate towards Fred and you're showing hate towards Siakam. I don't call what you're doing constructive criticism. In fact, I told myself, whoever's going to be negative this morning, I'm going to call them out. Because once again, if we win games, this season may be a difficult season of ups and downs. I don't want to have downs on days where we just won a fucking badass overtime game. So in some ways, fun guy, how about you just show up when we lose? Then you can have your negative takes. But if we win, don't show up with your negative takes because I'm going to be pissed at you because I want to keep it positive on days after we won. How about that? Remember this going forward for the rest of the season. Because if you come in every single day after we win and you start telling me who did a bad job and who you don't like on the team, I'm going to be fucking pissed. I'm not doing this year. Seriously. I want positivity on this channel, and especially after we won. There's no reason to come after anybody, and especially Siakam right now. G saying, regardless of the reason, teams were letting him shoot, and now they have to respect it. I'm good with whatever Masai decides. Personally, I like to see how this looks in a few months and see the holes to fix. Yeah, I'm with G on that. I like that. David's saying, good game, Malachi. Which one? Branham or Flynn? I think Branham was better than Flynn. I mean, 8 of 9 shooting. That's really good. Malachi Branham. Let's see. Callie's here. Good to see Callie. So happy for the win. The comeback was amazing. However, my heart, oh my God, swear jar got filled. Yeah, Callie's stress meter was probably all over the place, but elation at the end. And that's fantastic. I like that. Let's see. All right, I'm going to pass on fun. Fun guy, you're over spamming. And honestly, you're just making the same fucking bullshit. So, yeah, you're timed out for the day, bro. You are timed out. I'm not reading any more of your comments. So many of them, too. So, yeah, I'm just not reading them at all. All right, where am I? I lost my place. I want to make sure. There's so much in here. Definitely do not comment anymore, please. Please do not comment anymore. Where am I? No. Yeah, this is wow. Seymour's here. I mean, no, Carlos here. Fuck. I really got to catch up. Yeah, this is really bad. Y'all definitely don't write anymore. Yeah, and I can't read any more of his statements because I see how many there are, and I'm sure they're just the same bullshit over and over again. Holy crap, there's so much here. All right, hang on. Holy crap, it jumped so far ahead. All right, here we go. Jimmy's saying, I'm shaking my head right now. We are a better team with Pascal than without him. Man said that for a backup point guard. Laughing my ass off. Yeah, I'm siding with Jimmy. I'm on the Pascal side right now. Nako's saying, based on the eye test, I thought Scotty's form got progressively better through the years. I think it's closer to the truth that the bag was there, but the mechanics needed improvements. No. I mean, he didn't have this last year. In some ways, it's a confidence and maturity in certain things that happened at this time. Fiercely 48 people in the stream. Hit that like button. I appreciate that. Cool guy saying, just found out OG declined his extension. Raptors going to have to give him a Brinks contract. I don't know if you heard that. There's no official word on that. Once again, if you're finding out stuff from the inside, tell us if you're actually giving us real stuff. I'm just going to treat that as a rumor because I don't know if that's fucking true. Any kind of extension talk, I'm not going to believe unless I hear like real people from the people doing it. There's been so much bullshit last year about the extensions with Fred and different people that was absolutely not true, what was going around. So all due respect, Cool Cat, any kind of extension rumors like this, I'm not going to believe it until I see it from somewhere official, even from you. So Nameless is saying 40 to 45 sheets, Cool Cat. That's what it's going to take. We'll have to see. I don't mind paying them. Tom Duke's saying, and ask nicely. Yeah, so you can do the OG open gym. Nameless is saying, haha, 100%, Tom. I think it's justified because of his past loyalties, too. Yeah, and he's a Raptors champion. and he's the best defender in the league. I mean, I think you should pay OG. I think you should. He's worth it. He's worth it. I think you get the payback. G saying Kawhi came in as a defense first. Scotty is defense and pass first. He was not a shooter. If he was, he would have been a number one pick. I said 3 years ago he'll develop his shot like Kawhi over time. Yeah, and he has. It's very much been what's happening. Tom Duke's got the Brinks truck ready for OG, and Nameless is laughing. Paul B saying Scotty for most improved. Maybe. I don't know. He might get consideration for that. Shaq Lindsay saying, did you see the hezzy and the fadeaway from Scotty? For someone who can't shoot, he sure fooled me. There was a lot of confidence in making that shot right at the end, that three. Yeah, I saw that. Cool Cat saying, I think we should stop comparing Scotty to other players and give Scotty his own lane. Scotty is his own Scotty, and he's creating his own story in his own lane as a complete player. Scotty is Scotty. Yeah, and he told us that. He said, yeah, y'all are comparing me to stuff. He's like, I'm me. I'm just going to be me. And he's right. And he said that to us on Twitch last summer. Nameless saying, Scotty working on that Supermax. He's got it. He's going to get it. He's going to get it. He'll get it. He's just got to get the accolades, and he'll get it, and he'll be the guy. G saying, true, but players' trajectories will always be compared until they create their own categories. At some point, players will be compared to Scotty. Yeah, it's kind of a dumb game. And a lot of the players in the league don't like being compared to each other. In some ways, they really don't like it. They get insulted in some ways. That's part of it right there. It's easy for fans to be like, oh, that player's just like that. Like Gradey Dick's just like Klay Thompson. I hate that comparison. Mugarbe is saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. I have never seen so many negative posts about Siakam. Why do we have to build up one player, pull down the next? Yeah, I'm with you on that. And in some ways, you know what it is? Some of them are not fans. They see something good happening for us, and they see the Siakam kind of at a dud game, and they come in and they try and pile on Siakam to try and leverage him out. That's part of what this action is. Now, some of the real fans buy it, and they start pushing with the people that aren't fans that want him just out. You know, people have to remember, once again, Siakam is our last huge champion that's on our team participating, even without the coach here now. So they really want to destroy our championship memories and our championship team. Siakam's the last person they got to get out. And in some ways, that's who's motivated behind this. Some of the people that are pushing this are the people that hate that the Raptors can say their former champion Toronto Raptor Pascal Siakam. They want to erase that memory by taking every single piece of that team away from us over time. In some ways, I want to be defiant and hold on to Siakam just to say fuck you to the people that have wanted to do that. How about that? And people that want to chase Siakam out of here, I'm like, yeah, you want to take every single last piece of our championship team away from us? Fuck you for that, is what I'll say to those people too. So let's see. Cool Cat saying, Lex, I don't think we have a sports owner that wants to pay 3 players. Once again, that's negative thinking, Cool Cat. You're slightly negative. Like you and Fun Guy are both troublesome to me. In some ways, I get it. You have certain loyalties, but in some ways, you're negative towards the Raptors. And you may be like, oh, but I'm just telling the truth about what's happening. We don't know if this is true. And in some ways, I hate forecasting negative things happening because in some ways, that's what you get. So, Cool Cat, let's start talking about positive things happening instead of fucking things like Tannenbaum's leaving next year and this is happening and the owner won't want to do this. Fuck all that shit. Until I see it in reality, then I'll believe it. But you speculating it and talking about it, you put it more in reality by putting it out there. So you want to believe that? I don't believe that. I think we can pay these guys and hopefully the team will. But you believing that, I hate that. In some ways, you're a Debbie Downer right now. And I don't like it. Paul B saying Scotty hitting threes is such a good look. Yeah, he needs to continue. That's the thing, though. We can't totally rely on these threes because they're not always going to be there. Nameless is saying Scotty's ability to drop threes is confusing the hell out of people. I know they didn't think, they just painted a picture. That's the same thing with Precious. Oh, Precious can't shoot threes. Well, Precious can shoot threes. No, he shouldn't be shooting threes. Well, he can shoot threes, and he's good at them. And so is Scotty. Okay, this changes things. Oh, he's not 6'8" anymore. He's 6'10". Yeah, amend your height, too. I don't want it while you're at it. Carlos saying, one thing I like about yesterday, Scotty adapted well to Wemby. In the first half, Wemby was owning everyone, and Dennis and Scotty figured him out in the second. This is so true. Carlos is exactly right. The Wemby effect was in full effect and had our guys hesitant and not playing exactly right. Well, they changed that, and they got around him way, way better in the second half. Yeah. All right, let's see. Carlos saying, Scotty and Wemby will have great battles in the future. I know somebody's trying to say it's going to be a Scotty versus Wemby rivalry, but that doesn't make any sense. Wemby's in the Western Conference, and we're in the Eastern Conference. We're going to play them twice. There's no room to make a rivalry there. The rivalry is Holmgren and Wembayama. Scotty may find his own rivalry with somebody like Joel instead. Nameless is saying, I wonder what Gradey is thinking as he watches Scotty Barnes ascend to the next level with this organization. Gradey is on cloud nine. He's in the NBA. He's getting regular minutes in a rotation for a team right away. In some ways, he's getting things a lot earlier than I thought he would. And I'm proud of him. And he's doing fine. I don't have a problem with what they're doing with Gradey right now. In some ways, I feel like he may be biting off too much he can chew, but it's not the case. And Darko's doing a good job with him so far. G saying Scotty will plow through Chet when they play. I want to see that. I think that'll happen. I think that'll be cool. Let's see. Nameless and them you're laughing about a bet or something. I don't know. Fun guy's timed out for the day. I'm done. Nameless is saying, I can only imagine how that night went. I have no idea what you're talking about. Jimmy Pope saying, it's just facts that we are better with a productive Siakam. It's not about attachments. If anything, y'all are mad attached to Scotty to the point y'all bring down our current team, laughing at my ass off. Yeah, Jimmy, once again, totally siding with Jimmy. It's true. We are a better team with Siakam on our team, y'all. We're not a worse team with him. We're not. We're going to be worse in some ways with him leaving. So, I'm with Jimmy. I understand what we got with him, and y'all aren't respecting him enough in the way you should. You really shouldn't. And there's no reason to tear him down just to build up Scotty. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Country Con saying, GM Raptors Freak. Good morning, Raptors Freak. That's what that means. I think GM, a general manager, Raptors Freak. Ooh, maybe. I don't know. Get him on the phone. Lex, I can't believe how Scotty played last night. He stole the spotlight from Wemby. He really did. The dunk on Sohan looked like Shaq. The step back three looked like Kawhi. It's Scotty's time now. That's right. He's arriving, and I love it. Carlos saying Siakam is notoriously known for needing a few games to settle in, and the new system, he'll be okay. Yeah, I agree with this. I think that everybody's making rash decisions and deciding things too quickly. They see Scotty do this, and they're like, oh, Siakam's expendable. I hate that. Y'all shouldn't be acting like that. We need a lot of good wealth on our team. We need abundance. And keeping as many good players as we can is the right thing. Cool Cat saying, Lex, we can't have three amigos. We don't have owners that will pay the price for three. It'll be a duo. I don't know that. And you don't know that for sure, Cool Cat. And stop. Seriously. Who the fuck are you, Rachel Dratch? But we don't have three owners that'll pay them. Debbie Downer. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Seriously, maybe Larry Tannenbaum will give us one last gift before he leaves, as you're saying, next year. Once again, please, Cool Cat. You are like one of the most negative people the last couple days. It's pissing me off. I don't want to hear this shit. Until these things happen, then we'll react to them. And stop prognosticating horrible things for the Raptors. I don't like it. Let's just put it that way. You may be right in the end, and I'll say you were right, but I don't want to believe that truth, that ugly truth, until it may happen. Otherwise, I'm going to believe in this world that, yeah, we can have the things that the Warriors have, but maybe that isn't true. But I don't like I will shoot the messenger on this because I don't want the message going around right now. Because in some ways, once again, you put it out in ether, it's more likely to come true. So watch what you're saying, okay? And even if you think that, keep it to yourself and don't give it to me because I'll be pissed when you give me shit like this. Seriously. G saying, according to BS Park, I don't know what that is, athleticism ranking, he is the fourth most athletic wing in the last 21 years. This is analyzed using combine data. Masai knows what he's doing. There you go. Yeah, we could see that. For sure. All right. Carlos saying that again is an assumption, Cool Cat. Once Siakam shows he can fit the system, he'll get paid. Well, she's saying just because Ed Rogers is a tightwad fucking asshole that he won't allow us to have three max players is what she's trying to say. Cool Cat saying, I had a fun guy. To be fair, Pascal, though, he didn't have a center for 3.5 years, and the players he was given were all out of the league. Pascal was a bridge to make some money until drafting Scotty. See, that's a negative, pessimistic fucking statement in itself. Cool Cat, your mindset is negative. Let's just put it that way. Maybe you're hurt because it does seem like a divorce between Siakam and the Raptors are coming, and you're kind of being in a negative headspace about it because I get you may be emotional about it. Fiercely saying, I'm manifesting for Koloko to be fine. Remember, it is a business. Had front office known he would be done, I doubt they would allow him to travel and keep a roster spot. I'm positive he will get better. Yeah, what's the investment in having him around the team? Why isn't he at home with the doctors if he's in that bad of shape? He's able to travel and be there with the coaches and getting the experience and being around it if he can't play. And that's important too. So there's a lot of signs that show that Koloko is going to make a return. He's going to be fine. So we'll have to see. Jimmy's saying Pascal doesn't need to be the number one option, but to say we are a better team without Pascal is idiotic. Sorry, I'm with you on that. Cool Cat saying we're in a new era with Scotty's team, and he has a 7-foot center, some shooters. Raptors are making an effort to build around him, which is good to see. Didn't do that after winning the chip for years. See, that's a weird take. In some ways, listen, the pandemic happened. There's no way we could have done what you're saying with the scrambling we had to do just to deal with the pandemic issues. You all very conveniently forget that we dealt with a once in a lifetime, unheard of situation that had never happened in the history of time with the NBA season. And we weathered it really fucking good, considering that some teams would have absolutely destroyed themselves going to Tampa like we did. So this is really bad memory of what happened. We were just trying to survive as a franchise. Forgive us for not building the ultimate perfect team to put around Siakam after that. Oh my gosh, that's such bullshit in some ways. The pandemic happened. What the fuck are we supposed to do? And add into it, the NBA was actively trying to dismantle our team for us. Actively trying to dismantle our team. Nameless is saying, who just suggested that Siakam's slow start is because he was away from the team this past summer? What a great suggestion. What an excellent point. This is probably partly true. That, like I said, he may have thought he was going to get traded, and he was kind of keeping distance just to make it easier if he did get traded. And he didn't. And in some ways, he came to camp behind the rest of the guys because he wasn't at Rico Hines with them. And in some ways, he wasn't doing some of the stuff like Vegas and Summer League with them either. So Carlos saying Pascal is all around Swiss Army knife. Now, we don't need him to score everything. It's really up to him to fit in the new system, taking over when needed and do everything else. There you go. He's an all-around good player, and that's valuable. He doesn't have to be the scorer Siakam that everybody thinks he is for the last couple of years. He can do so many different things to help us, and we need to value that in some ways. He's an all-around great player. Saborin smiling. Carlos saying Siakam was always a slow starter at Nameless. It depends. Mugabe saying, Lex, suppose OG never makes them 7 threes and Dennis, would we win? No. We absolutely needed every contribution from every single guy in the ways they did. Now, if they made their free throws, it would have made it easier. But OG hitting all of his threes was huge. Dennis playing the way he did was huge. Scotty, Siakam, all of them did important things. Jakob too, Gary, Malachi, Otto, even Gradey, without even scoring a point. Gradey did some important things in the game too. Yeah. Let's see. That's true too. Most vets are. Just look at Butler and company right now. Yeah. Veteran moxie and know-how is important in the NBA to win. Cool Cat saying, I hope Koloko is saving money in the meantime. NBA career is very precarious. Change is inevitable. Things move fast. That's right. Be smart with your money. Hopefully you have a career. That's what we all wish for you. We really do. We really, 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 really do. Really, really do. All right, let's see. Betty's saying, yes, I agree. Pascal did good defense. There you go. Betty's getting a dunk for coming in and saying something nice about Siakam when so many people are saying stupid shit about him. We're going to give Betty a dunk. Thank you, Betty, for being a voice of reason. Pascal did good on defense. That's good enough for me right there. I love it. 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 Nako's saying, just something I've noticed, there seems to be more of a focus on getting the ball past the defender than I saw with Nick. That's interesting observation, Gerald. I get what you're saying. Well, the thing is that Darko has an emphasis on getting paint touches. And in some ways, you got to lob it into somebody near the paint to get those paint touches the easiest, unless you're going to drive off a screen and come into the lane or something like that. That's part of it, is that he wants them to get to the paint. And usually to get the paint, then you got to beat your man. Nick didn't necessarily want to try and do that kind of stuff, to work the ball in the paint. He wasn't counting paint touches like Darko is. And I think that's part of it. Monique's saying, fun guy, stop hating on Pascal. There's more to life, please. That's right. That's why he is timed out for the day. And we ain't listening to him no fucking more. He's so anti-Pascal today. Thank you for the cutoff, Fiercey. Cool Cat saying the best way to deal with negative statements on Siakam is to ignore them. Don't put them on blast. Pascal is our most decorated superstar, a Raptor so far. And that's right. That is exactly right. He has the most accolades out of all of our Raptors. Maybe Kawhi in his 1 year with the finals MVP kind of can be rivaled, but Siakam honestly does have more awards and more things about him. He has 2 championship rings. He has a G League championship and a Raptors championship. And yeah, that's why I'm ignoring Fun Guy right now. Cool Cat. That's right. Seymour saying this team don't move anyone. Rely on Masai. That's right, Seymour. I'm with you. Cool Cat saying Siakam was on the trade block. Raptors were shopping him, so he's not around this summer. That's right, too. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying time will tell, but the writing is on the wall. Masai loves OG and shut down every trade rumor with his name on it. Not even Dame was worthy enough. There you go. I like that. I love that, Shaq Lindsay. I love what you're saying. Trevor's saying people never give up a Pascal his flowers when he had to save us, saving us time and time again. But people always see the bad in. You're not good in the things you do. That's right. I'm sick of it. They only point out when he's bad, and they never give him the toot his horn when he's good. And that's the thing that pisses me off. Seymour saying, salute Trevor J. Keep up the good fight. Yeah, there you go. David's saying, who the fuck was that woman that called a foul when the guy fell out of bounds? Legal foot-to-foot contact, chasing down a loose ball. Someone please fire that stupid fucking woman. That's very hateful, and that is not – she's not a woman. That is a trans man, and we are respecting that. It's a whole kit and caboodle. I'm not going to be like that with you. You know, I already talked about this, David. If you missed it, that call wasn't even by Flores. That call was by Zarba. Zarba called that call. So he was the one who called the challenge. She may have made the initial call, but part of it is because in the angle where she saw Siakam coming at Trey Jones, and he bumped into him, and he bumped into her, and she went out of bounds, or they went out of bounds. All due respect, trans person, they went out of bounds, and from their angle, it looked like Siakam had pushed them into them, and it wasn't exactly that. I agree. That was a bullshit call. But Zach Zarba should be at fault because he went and looked at it and he still held up the call. So from Shea Flores's perspective, it looked like Pascal had pushed the player into them. So with all due respect, David, that's a lot of venom for somebody that doesn't deserve it. It's Zach Zarba's fault on that one. Seriously. Carlos saying not to be sexist, but it seems the women refs are especially bad this year. Yeah, that's sexist. And once again, that's the trans ref. That's not a woman. That is a trans man. Just so y'all know. Carlos saying that was last night was bad at OKC and Golden State as well. I don't know. I'm not keeping up on that. Listen, they are good for us. Historically, we win a lot when Shea Flores is around, so I like them. Y'all don't have to like them, but they're good for the Raptors and percentage-wise. So in some ways, I'm going to stand up for this person. Because in some ways, they may get a little bit of extra hate this year just because they came out as being the first trans official ever. And honestly, that wasn't their mess up. It was Zach Zarba. Zach Zarba, we challenged it. He should have overturned it, but he didn't. So get more mad at Zach Zarba than Flores on that one. Seriously. It doesn't make no sense. All right, let's see. I'll read this one by Fun Guy. Let's see. I like what Fun Guy's saying here. Damn, bro, very sexist. They got ran over and they did not have a soft, pretty reaction by calling it a foul, but could have been any ref. That's exactly right. I will agree with that one by Fun Guy right there, because in some ways it didn't matter what the gender of the ref was. So in some ways you don't even need to bring that up. And saying that the female refs in general suck, that's not a good take, Carlo JS. I'm sorry. David is saying, which is surprising because last year there were a bunch of new female officials who were absolutely awesome. Well, let's not make brand sweeping judgments like this. There are different female refs in this league, and there are different variances of good or bad. Trust me. It's just like the men. There's good male refs and bad male refs. So let's not make this a gender thing, y'all. Seriously. The refs are awesome. That we're being more inclusive and more representative of the general population of the world by having people from South Korea, Syria, trans, more females, more people of different races involved. This is what's important. and not necessarily like saying, oh, the female refs are horrible. What do it sound like? You just said, oh, all the Asian refs are horrible in the NBA. That would sound racist as fuck. So calm yourselves now with making gender generalizations about our referees. Seriously, calm down with that. Yeah, Shaq Lindsay saying, I love Pascal, but this is the blueprint of building a championship team. Have core pieces like Scotty and OG is essential. Pascal in his prime means value. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they decide. Does he have value in staying and being one of the pieces for another championship? Or does he have value in going in a trade and getting those pieces instead? David's saying, I'm a fun guy. I agree. All officials are equally useless. Their sex doesn't matter. I'm agreeing with these guys. They're different, but there are different refs. There's some refs that are good, Dedrick Taylor, and there's some refs that are bad, Ed Malloy. And it's a case-by-case basis. And that's why I do the ref report. Carlos saying in the future, Wemby will be a lockdown defender. Put him on anyone, and that person won't score. I could see that. He might be pretty good in that way. Fun guy, I appreciate you standing up on this gender issue, even though I timed you out. Fiercely saying, I don't understand why the Spurs let go of DeJounte Murray and Jakob. Oh, well, Jakob is back with us, our advantage. They did that to get Wemby. They got rid of them to get Wemby. That's why. Exactly. I think you're being sarcastic. David's saying because they wanted to tank without tanking to get Wemby. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying a team who can't attract free agents need to get players in the draft or through trades, especially when our bench and our offense still need a little work. Well, we'll see. We'll see. The adjustments will be made by the front office on the schedule and the way that they want to. Nako's saying Spurs have the Suns' number. Yeah, that may have been a matchup thing with them. You know, in some ways, the Suns are going to have a problem because they don't have a good defense. In some ways, that is really going to hurt them this year. They don't have Booker and Beal and everything going. They may not be able to stop the other team from outscoring them because they have no defense. I predicted this, and I think that was part of the problem with how the Spurs handled them 2 games in a row in Phoenix. Beat them both times. Amazing. Carlos saying, thank the basketball gods we won yesterday. A loss yesterday would have put us at 2-5. Yeah, that would have looked bad for sure. Kenrick saying Celtics have Tatum and Brown. That's right. They got 2 guys. Why can't we have 2 guys? That's right. Fiercely saying, I believe Seymour. I was driving back from Trois Rivers, and the Raps app showed the halftime score. I was still tuned in and listened to the game while driving. Maybe not a great idea, but we won. Just drive safe is what I'll say on that one. Yeah. Let's see. Seymour saying fiercely, it was such a good game. It really was. Infamous saying, salute, freaks. You're so right, Lex. Why this sudden hate for Pascal? Why can't we enjoy the success of the team? Unfortunately, I was seeing a lot of racist language towards Pascal online. Well, that may be the Boston fans seeing an opportunity. Maybe they're like scared because they saw Scotty rise up. And they're like, oh, shit, they're really good. Well, we need to get Siakam, hurt him. Just go in there and say that Siakam sucks because he got 8 points. And then maybe the Raptors fans will join in. Yeah, make it racial too, just like the things we did when we had that really racial thing we did to him in the bubble. Yeah, Celtics fans, we know if it's racist talk about this Siakam, what Raptor fan is being racial towards Siakam? Are you really a fan? How do you go from like, all right, I don't like this guy because he doesn't make shots to I'm going to make racial attacks against this guy? That is very dubious, and it makes me think that it's another fan base like the Celtics fan base generating the racist attacks against Siakam right now. They just see the opportunity. And like I said, it comes from fear because they see the writings on the wall with Scotty. So that's what I'm saying. Infamous, thank you. And you're exactly right. Why is everybody so negative? We won yesterday. Seymour saying infamous. Really, that is sad. Yeah, anything that's racial towards Siakam is absolutely awful. And he's saying, Fun Guy's saying, those are shitty people. They did the same to Siakam during the bubble season. That's fucked up. That's what I'm saying. There you go. I like what Fun Guy's saying there. They are shitty people, and they're usually Celtics fans. David's saying, great observation, Kenrick. Yeah, which one was the Kenrick observation? I'm not even sure. Country Con saying, Lex, my dream came true during yesterday's game. My prayers were answered. In the second half, Darko finally let Scotty play with 4 shooters in OG, Gary, Gradey, and Malachi. That unit played amazing. Yeah, that was early in the third quarter, and that was okay. I get a little worried with that kind of lineup with Gradey and Gary and Malachi out there because they're all kind of, but you're right. In some ways, that is a nice unit to have shooters around those guys. All those guys can shoot, and I get it. It's kind of anti-Poeltl what you just said, but it's not anti-Siakam because he could fit into that lineup, and he would be fine. Carlos saying, give Siakam at least half a season to fit in right, at least 20 games. He wants to be here. Why not? Why not? Right? Yeah. Yeah. He's owed this to us. Seriously, I think that we owe him the ability to do this because he's worked really hard for us for a long time. David's saying there's no reason for all of this overreaction. Pascal's fine. He just needs time. It's not like his abilities just vanished overnight. I know he didn't even have a bad game yesterday. Casuals think he had a bad game because they just see 8 points. But if they really look into it, they'll see that that wasn't a bad game for him. Carlos saying that Siakam 3 in overtime was big. That's right. He hit a 3 late in a big moment that was important. Wayne's saying good point on Flynn, McDaniels, and Gradey. With them not playing, the maturity of the game changed, which allowed us to win. We really can't win consistently with them playing together. Yeah, we just got to measure the youth factor and how much inconsistency or like not really knowing what they're doing kind of stuff is going on out there. Infamous saying, I called out the racists of people on the live saying Pascal should go back to Zimbabwe. That's horrible and stupid and misinformed also. All the host said was there was people being bad in the live instead of banning them. I unsubscribed after that. Really? That was on Raptors Tonight? People were being racist in the chat. Man, they're out of pocket on there. They need to do a better job. In some ways, they need to handle things like I do. Nameless is saying Suggs over Scotty. You're laughing. What are you doing, Nameless? What is that? That should be a strike. That should be a strike. Oh man, yeah, they're idiots. Yeah, Wayne Strainer's saying that racist language would not be tolerated here. That's for damn sure. That's right. Name is saying I'm going to make the teams that pass up on me regret it. Jalen Suggs, and he plays Jeopardy music. That's kind of funny. Nameless. All right, I'm gonna give you a dunk for making me think of Alex Trebek all of a sudden. All right, it got dark. It's like raining now. Fiercely saying how Nick Nurse plays his favorites accommodates them. Hence why Pascal was an all-star last year. This year it'll be Tyrese Maxey. That's right. Maxey is looking like an all-star already. Country Kong saying, can we all agree that the Spurs tanked for Wemby? The Yak trade helped. R.C. Buford is cutthroat executive like Danny Ainge, Malachi Branham, and Keldon Johnson were both drafted using Raptors draft picks. I'm not going to admit that they tanked. I'm going to admit that they strategically lost, like just because they didn't have good enough players. But tanking has a whole other connotation to me than what the Spurs did. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying it, fun guy. OG was healthy last year. With the new NBA rules, he would have qualified for accolades. No jinxing, please. Yeah, none of that. Infamous is saying, why does this have to be someone's team? Last I checked, basketball is a team sport and not tennis. Everyone contributed to the win. Kawhi is playing well. Should they get rid of PG-13 now? Exactly. That's a voice of reason right there. Infamous, very smart. Nameless is saying, embrace the strikes, fun guy. Feel the burn. And Loic saying, go west. He wants Siakam to go west. Okay. He's saying, he laughed my ass off. He's not even at the worst comments yet. Yeah, and I skipped them. MSJ saying, I will end my saying the idea of it's Scotty's team. I get it. But it should be Darko's team if we're going to win, just like it was Coach Lowry's team when we won in 2019. The shot at Nick and that. Yeah, I like what he's saying here. Ultimately, I'd like it to be the coach's team. Like Popovich's team is Spurs' team. It's not Wemby's team. In some ways, it never will be Wemby's team because it wasn't Tim's team then either. It wasn't Tim's team back then. It was always a whole time Popovich's team. In some ways, I like that delineation by MSJ saying this should be Darko's team. It's not Scotty's team. It's Darko's team, but Scotty can operate at a high level and be the man in it. Wayne saying, who talks trades? And we haven't played 10 games yet. Pascal needs to stay put until we get our second championship. Trade talk is so immature. There you go, Wayne Strainer. I love it. You're getting a dunk for being a voice of reason in this situation. We have not even played 10 games this season, and you motherfuckers want to trade people already. What is this? Come on now. Fiercely saying, Embiid is not even going to stay with Philly. Laugh out loud. Why sending Pascal over there and having Nick Nurse end his career with 46 minutes a game? Yeah, I just don't really like the idea of some things. I know that, Cool Cat would love for him to go to Philly because Rico's there. And there's other reasons why some people, maybe she wants some revenge against us for Siakam with Nick. And I don't like any of that fucking bullshit. So fuck that. I never want to see Siakam in a Sixers jersey. That's a horrible nightmare to me. And if that shit happened, I'd be really pissed off. I'm going to tell you that right now. Infamous is saying, y'all don't think Scotty is paying attention to how the fan base is treating his teammates? Pascal, and thinking one day they will turn on me like this? Scotty loves his teammates. Enjoy the win. Well, listen, we can't control them, and he knows he can't control them, and he isn't paying attention to this. I'm going to tell you that right now. He's not really paying attention to this. He really isn't. These guys are smart. They don't pay attention to any of us ordinary folks unless we're in their Twitch streams and we're talking to them directly. Wayne's saying that trade logic has no basis in reality, Lex. What evidence is there that Pascal was being shopped other than the usual tick every box? Well, it just seems like it. The way that things were happening this summer, I think that he really was being shopped. Like, seriously, there's a lot of logic to it that makes sense. And the way that he was distant from the team in a way, it kind of supports that him and Fred kind of saw the writing on the wall as being they're going to be kind of going out, and it's Scotty's time. So there's a lot of different clues there. I mean, I know that doesn't make sense in some ways, but it does. It does in some ways. Does that mean? I don't know. Let's see. Tom Duke to the rescue. Tom Duke's retracting stuff. Let's see. I love the balance. Yeah. All right. Let's see. And then Fun Guy's also saying, it's crazy because I'm actually happy after a win. I know. I want you to be happy. So give me positive. Tell me what you love, man. Tell me what you love instead of what you hate. I love you, Fun Guy. Just tell me what you love. That's right. Fun Guy got teed up. That's right. Technical foul on Fun Guy. That's a technical. But I am reading your comments now. I got through the bad part, and let's see what he's saying. Siakam's stats won't help you, Lex. What are you talking about? His stats will help me. All right, let's see. Nameless is laughing. Fiercely saying, don't want to start a bashing LGBTQ2 plus convo, but being raised in a French environment and learning English later, they meant plural for me. Have to adjust to this new terminologies. And the pronouns are an interesting thing. They're an interesting thing. I do them out of respect. Because in some ways, it's like, what is the big deal? You can't do this for someone to show general respect for them. What is your problem is what I say to people. Mugabe saying, Lex, that's not nice sending Pascal to a shitty team. You all say he is not the guy, but you fair Pascal to go to a team with a real superstar on it. It's still fair to Pascal. Well, that's only if he goes to the East. If he goes to the East, he needs to go to a shitty team like Charlotte. If he goes out west, you can send him to the Warriors. You can send him to the Lakers. Send him to the Spurs. I don't care. But if he's in the East, I want him to go to a bad team. I don't want him to help another team get to the next level. No, you want to see him in a Cleveland jersey? You want to see him in a Knicks jersey? You want to see him in a Celtics jersey? No, you don't. No, you don't, Mugabe. And it's not about what I don't care if Siakam wins after this. See, some of y'all care about whether he wins or not. I don't care. It's just like Fred. Fred can go down to Houston and lose for the rest of his career. I don't give a shit. I don't care if he wins anymore. I don't care if we put Siakam in a situation where he's winning games. In fact, I kind of want to send him to Charlotte and let him try and be the man down there and see if he can actually be the man for Charlotte in some ways. I don't care about where we send him, whether he wins or not. I love him. He'll always have a championship with us and those kind of things. And in some ways, I don't want him to increase his things with his accolades. Like, I don't want Nick to be successful in Philly. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. So, yeah, I do want to send him to a shitty team in the East. He can go to a good team in the West, though. Wayne's saying, same. We were talking nonsense about Otto, that he conned us. We win a tough game, and we're talking nonsense. Thanks that we have a front office with a high IQ and a damn good coach. Yeah, the nonsense about Otto, has it stopped now that he's actually played and we see the fruits of him? Hopefully he'll be healthy the whole year and we'll see it all year long. And hopefully that'll make up for him missing last year. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of overreactive nonsense half the time with things that are Raptors related. Fiercely saying at the present, OG is saying on numerous times he is tall. Yeah, that's what he learned. He's very tall. Loic saying to Fiercey, thank you. In France, we don't know about those things, and my English is not that good. There you go. Yeah, because you guys have a lot of the feminine and the masculine with every word. Like you have different stuff, and in some ways, this is like, whoa, what we're going to have even more ways that we have to conjugate these verbs or figure out how we do the form of this for a they. And yeah, it can cause some folly for certain languages, like French, I guess. Nako saying, I will say, I think Victor is going to need some better pieces. I do like Keldon and Sohan, though. I don't know. This team's pretty good, but yeah, there's upgrading they could probably do. Part of it is going to be those young players on the Spurs are going to get better themselves. Victor's going to have jumps like Scotty just did, and they're going to be immense and they're going to be crazy. Like right now, this is the worst he's going to be, and he's already incredibly good. So just imagine when he's actually fine-tuned things, and he's really, really good. Look out, Loic. Really good things coming up for the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama. Elijah's here. Good to see Elijah Hutchins. Wemby's got to realize he's 8'12", and there's nobody that can do anything with him. Yes, he can step out and do some other stuff, but I just don't get why players like leaning away from their strengths. You mean like getting down low and just being right next to the basket? Well, why not? If you can shoot threes and you can make them, go take the threes. That's right. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to skip you still, fun guy. Infamous saying facts, Lex. Dude, just look at the stats. Pascal played defense, had key passes. The problem getting talent here, we want to get rid of the person that loves the cities and the team. That's right. He's loyal. There's a lot of things that aren't broken with Siakam that y'all want to break further. And I'm not agreeing with. Nameless to say, Scotty be like, oh, we don't have a stretch big. Hold my bag. There you go. Boom. I'm right at 3 hours. Thank you for the cutoff, guys. Let's see. Yeah, all right. And fun guy's saying, I love how passionate you get about the wrong things, Lex. Laughing my ass off. I'm most certainly right. Even the usage. All right, yeah. Fuck all that. Yeah, you get whatever. Michael's here. Good to see Michael. Michael Furlano. It's been a little bit. Good to see you, Mike. Scotty is different. Eight beats per minute right now is crazy. Yeah, he's up the tempo. That's for sure. He's definitely up the tempo. Yeah, I'm just going to skip fun guy for the rest of this chat. And Seymour's got the red flag, red stop. Yeah, I don't care what he said. I'm going to say, I'm not going to even read it. Nako's saying, parting thoughts. Nobody was holding Scotty back, but Darko is a better coach for him. Sengun and Herb Jones deserve love from the 2021 draft too. Yeah, I could say that. They're pretty good. I like Herb Jones. I don't like Sengun though. Most saying W stream Lex, keep at it as always. Good times roll all the way up. That's right, Monique. And we're riding with you, ride or die with Monique Lawrence and the Raptors. Always riding, and we will go through whatever, whether it's a bad first half, we will get to the end and have the win. Carlos saying we have 42 watching, only 27 likes. That's because there's haters here. Carlos saying, nice info about the ref, Lex. Thanks for standing up for our LGBTQ plus bros and sisters. That's right. We need more people to be allies and standing up for them and helping them carve out a justified place in life that is not like judged or put down or anything like that. These are our equals. And people that treat people that are trans like they're lesser than them, fuck you. You're fucked up. All people created equal. And that means he, she, or they. And that's the world we're going to. If y'all are anti-trans, you ain't about this, well, get with the program because we're moving forward. And just like other things, progress happens. And even if your old heads are against it, well, it ain't up to you. It's going to happen regardless. So we'll drag you along behind us. It's going to happen anyway. Greg is here. Gubstown Clink is in the house. Y'all give the Clink a follow. We love you, Greg. We hope you've been doing good. Morning Freaks. Bench coming together with a game reps. Easy to see team getting better. Bodes well as chemistry develops. Otto a breath of fresh air at Small Ball 5. Taking kids to see Wemby in Detroit in 2024. Awesome. Great. That's an awesome road trip to see the Pistons versus the Spurs. Good stuff. And I love all your key points here, Greg. It's true. Otto is a real breath of fresh air. And they're saying after the game, Scotty said at some point, Otto said, I'm going to play the 5 for a little bit. And they just listened to him. And they love the ingeniousness and the vet presence of Otto and his know-how and smarts. And it really paid off for helping us win last night. That's for sure. Race Mode Daily saying, Lexathon, let's go. And on that note, 2 minutes after 3 hours, I made it, y'all. I did get through everything. Of course, I did cut out a major part of Fun Guy's stuff, but that's all right. A great game last night by the Raptors, winning a game they probably should not have won. They had no business winning, and the Spurs are probably feeling like that. Barnes, my number 1 star. Schroeder, Annunoby, Poeltl, and Porter Jr., my 5 stars. And I'm giving honorable mention to Siakam in defiance of all the haters of him right now. I will do that. Get your fantasy Yahoo team set up. It's a new league week. I lost to David, but now this week it's you, Bradley. Ta-da! It's you and me, baby. This week going up against each other. Bam, bam, bam. Get your Yahoo fantasy team set up. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Tomorrow we're doing a Tuesday trivia. So I'm at the GOAT. Wherever you are, you better show up. Fiercey will be there, I'm sure. So be ready for your trivia tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Thanks for watching. Stay positive, especially on a day when the Raptors win, y'all. There's going to be negative, sad times this year. We really need to start like going with the emotions of what's happening. Y'all want to be upset after losses? We can do that. But after wins, I want to be upbeat and happy because in some ways we're getting cheated of happiness when y'all come in here like Debbie Downers and make me feel sad. I want to feel happy on a game like yesterday and come out with like all kinds of smiley, good, happy things like Scotty being the man and showing who he's blossoming into. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. The future's bright for the Raptors. The future is bright for the Spurs also. And there's nothing to hate about yesterday, y'all. Seriously. Lay off Siakam. I'll say that as my last point. All right, let's go, Raptors. See y'all tomorrow, 9:30 a.m.